Good afternoon, Kevin. The feeling is very mutual. Welcome everyone to Portman Road. It is only 34 days since Spain lifted the World Cup, and here we are, the opening Saturday of the new Premier League season. It's the first weekend of the campaign, during which you can listen to a total of 209 Premier League match commentaries across 5 Live and BBC Sounds, and it's great to be here at Portman Road in the sunshine alongside former Ipswich Town player and captain Luke Chambers. There's always a special feeling opening weekend of the season. You can hear the roar in the background. Can Ipswich give a better account of themselves this time compared to their previous campaign of the Premier League 2 years ago?
I think they've learned a hell of a lot from that experience coming up, recruiting the way they did, but this summer has certainly a different feel to it. You can see the scenes now as the flares and the fireworks start to go off around us, but a real positive feeling around this fan base. At the end of the day, it's a clean start, new manager, new players. We've got 4 players from the previous regular team of last season in the Championship, so really excited to see them, and it's important how quickly they gel together.
It is a full house here. All tickets sold as soon as they went on sale, and everyone in this corner of the land wanting to be part of another Premier League campaign for Ipswich Town. For Sunderland, well, they are the template that Ipswich will hope to follow. They did so well last season as a newly promoted team. So much of that success about how the new signings were able to gel so quickly, how cleverly Sunderland had recruited, and Ipswich Town can only hope that their transfer dealings can be anywhere near as successful as Sunderland's 12 months ago.
Absolutely. If that isn't the blueprint, then I don't know what it is for how you approach the recruitment and an attempt at staying in the Premier League. They absolutely surpassed everyone's expectation. Regis the Breeze was an absolute breath of fresh air, and I think Gary O'Neill has that same intention with this football team at Ipswich Town. They're desperate to stay in the Premier League, but what an opportunity for them to test themselves against a team that, like I say, exceeded everyone's expectation last season in Sunderland.
Well, let's give you a rundown of how the teams line up today. Ipswich Town against Sunderland in the Premier League on 5 Line Sports Extra. Don't forget, you can keep in touch with Nottingham Forest against Leeds. That's our pick for the commentary over on 5 Live with Ian Dennis. But today, Ipswich line up with Kel Sherpin, their new Dutch signing, in goal. It's his competitive debut for the club. Back 4 of Dara O'Shea, Issa Diop signed from Fulham, Jacob Greaves, who makes his 50th league appearance for the club, and Leif Davis. In midfield, the Chilean Marcelino Nunez, alongside another recruit from Fulham, Sasa Lukic. And then there's a line of 3 in attack: Abdul Fatawu, a new signing from Ipswich, Dyson Maeda, a new signing from Celtic, and Julio Encisa, who's joined from Strasbourg, having played at Portman Road on loan here in the past. And leading the line, the Brazilian Emerson, another who makes his Ipswich debut. For Sunderland, it's more of the tried and tested. Just one new recruit in their starting 11, the Belgian international Thomas Meunier, who was a doubt to take part here due to injury, but he has been past fit to start. So Robin Roofs, who performed so admirably last season, is in goal. Meunier joined by Dan Ballard, Luke O'Nien and Ronaldo in defence. In midfield, it's Noah Siddiqui alongside Granit Xhaka, with Tri Hume on the right, Nilson Nguno on the left, and Enzo Lefebvre in support of Brian Bobby last season. Up front. So Ipswich in their traditional blue shirts, white shorts, blue socks. Sunderland wearing a change kit which is a powder pink. The sun is shining, as it so often tends to do on the opening weekend of a new season. And right here, right now, Luke, everything possible. All dreams could come true from here.
Absolutely, what an opportunity for this group of players, especially Ipswich Town. You mentioned Sunderland, real consistency coming into the season, which they'll look to build on as they go on the European adventure. But for Ipswich, a chance for these players to announce themselves at Portman Road, because it'll have to be a fortress this season if they're to achieve what they want to achieve, and that's finish above that dotted line come the end of the season.
Here we go then, Ipswich Town against Sunderland. The Premier League on the BBC, and a throbbing atmosphere at Portman Road as Sunderland get us underway. They're playing from right to left as we look down. Robin Roofs, who's dressed all in yellow, pumps it left-footed up over the halfway line. Enciso tries to release a pass to Dyson Maeda, the rapid Japanese player, and he's challenging, the ball goes out of play, and that's a throw-in for Sunderland on the far side of the pitch from us. And one thing that immediately strikes for the Ipswich new recruits, a lot of pace there for Tawu and Ciso, Maeda.
I think that's the question for Ipswich this season, is how they're going to approach it. Gary O'Neill has his experience of the Premier League. Is this team capable of soaking up some pressure, not being in dominating possession, and then hitting teams on the break? Because he certainly looks like he's set the team up with, like you say, Fatawu, Maeda and Ciso to play on that front foot counter-attack football.
And last night, Arsenal, the reigning champions, got their defence of their crown underway, beating Coventry City in North London by 3-0. And what a result from earlier on today, the lunchtime kick-off in the Premier League. Hull City 2, Manchester United 0. What a start for newly promoted Hull, the kind of start that Ipswich Town would love to replicate here. Issa Diop, tall Moroccan international, turns and rolls the ball back to Sherpen away to the left-hand side. Kjell Sherpen, who played in each of the last 2 pre-season friendlies. Those were his first 2 appearances with his new teammates. Emerson, the big number 19, who turned 22 over the summer. Can the Brazilian striker come up with the goals? Because any newly promoted team, look, you need to have someone who'll score regularly. And
he'll be absolutely praying that he's the man to do that. And just really interesting as we look at, we mentioned the front 3 in behind Emerson of Maeda and Ciso and Fatawu, but Ipswich in possession just looked like they've rolled into almost a back 3 with Dara O'Shea on this right-hand side, tucking in alongside Diop and Greaves. So it'll be interesting to see how they do play that one.
Earlier on today, there were a few early kick-offs in the Championship. Birmingham, Bristol City drew 2-2. It finished Lincoln 1, Portsmouth 3 as Sherpen comes diving out to around the penalty spot area to smother possession away to our left-hand side. Millwall had a dominant day, beating Norwich City by 3-0. Here, Ipswich Town 0, Sunderland 0 on 5 Live Sports Extra as Abdul Fatawu tries to take on Reinildo down the right-hand side for Ipswich, and Ronaldo, the Mozambican defender who did well in the Premier League last season, crunched into young Fatawu there. £20 million Ipswich paid Leicester to sign Abdul Fatawu this summer. A young man who played for Ghana at the World Cup. Free kick to Ipswich on the halfway line. Dara O'Shea to take it. O'Shea, who started all 46 games in the Championship last season. He was the only Ipswich Town player to play in all of those matches. Long ball from Sherpen. Header is won by Luke O'Nien. Very versatile player, O'Nien. He's playing central defence today. He can operate in midfield. He can play at right back. That's a good ball. Brobby's onto it here for Sunderland. First attack of the game for the visitors. It's Brian Brobby, and what a tackle. Leif Davis crunching back in the nick of time. What an important tackle that was. It looked like Brobby was away.
It was absolutely incredible the way that Ipswich Town just lost possession, just sending their centre-halves forward from a long free kick from the edge of their own 18-yard box, but they broke away so easily. Brobby's through the middle, but Leif Davis showed brilliant pace not to make a foul and just dived in just on the edge of that 6-yard box to make the block.
I'll give you a full rundown of the Sunderland team in just a moment, but they've got this corner from the far side of the pitch. Here it comes, in-swinger from Granit Xhaka, headed to the front post, and Ciso tries to complete the clearance. There's appeals for a handball, and then Troy Hume attempts a shot, and he was slightly off balance as he struck it, and that was always careering away and off target. So Robin Roos is in goal for Sunderland. Mounier, Ballard, O'Nien and Ronaldo out the back four. Siddiqui with Xhaka in the midfield. Hume, Lefebvre, Angulo, and then Brian Brobby up front. Brobby, who scored in the friendly against Rennes last Saturday, the final warm-up game for Sunderland ahead of this competitive kick-off for the new campaign. The Dutchman, who had the pace to get into position there, but he didn't get the clean shot away, and it was quite brilliant defending from Leif Davis. Oh, hang on, Sherpen hesitating inside his 6-yard box, and he's almost been closed down by Enzo Lefebvre. That could have been catastrophe for Ipswich. That's sort of two close-run things, but Ipswich have survived them both.
Real nervy start there. Just a couple of indecision from Ipswich, and the way they've set up in terms of free kicks taken. And then Sherpen just plays a short one, gets himself in trouble with a poor touch on the edge of his 6-yard box, and they just need to settle themselves a little bit. Giving Sunderland a little bit of a leg up into the game is not what they want to start the season with.
0-0 here, 0-0 in the other 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League. There has been a goal in the 3 o'clock starts in League 2. Exeter City have taken the lead against Accrington Stanley. Full details of all today's football up and down the land available on the BBC Sport website. Throw in for Ipswich. Leif Davis to take left full-back position. Davis, who scored twice against Rayo Vallecano in a pre-season friendly 2 weeks ago, takes his time over the throw, lofts it towards Emerson, and then Ballard with a touch which Sunderland won't keep in play, and that goes out for a throw into Ipswich on the far side. Look.
Yeah, interesting to see Emerson and the way he's putting himself about inside these opening 5 minutes up top for Ipswich, just working his way in for headers, challenging everything, bringing others into play. He's certainly looking like he's going to be that focal point for them. He's got some good size about him. He's dropping in just off of 09. And Dan Ballard at the centre half for Sunderland is just linking things really, really well, playing with a lot of confidence in these opening 5 minutes.
Thomas Mounier takes the signing, very experienced player, plenty medals in his locker, having played for big teams in Germany and France in the past. And that could be a very shrewd acquisition from Sunderland if Mounier can stay fit. He turns 35 in September. He's no spring chicken, but this is a guy who's played at a very high level throughout his career. As Ipswich trying to work their way through the midfield here. Marcelino Nunez up towards Emerson, helps it onto Enciso. Good control, tries to get the shot away, Julio Enciso, but too many defenders in the way. Sunderland well organised at the back. O'Shea will loft one in. Header on target from Emerson is saved at the second attempt by Robin Roofs, and that's the first proper attack of the new Premier League season from Ipswich Town. 0-0.
Yeah, first bit of possession-based football that Ipswich have had, and Darragh O'Shea did brilliantly just to keep the ball and then find Lukic in the pocket. He turned and played into Emerson to link the play again. He's the one that we're looking at. Enciso then runs in behind him, and it's a real good build-up play, but Enciso probably made the wrong decision just outside the D of the penalty area to take the shot on when he had a couple of options outside to his right-hand side in Fatawu. But promising signs, and you hear the crowd immediately baying for that excitement and forward-thinking football from Ipswich.
Disappointing start for Leicester City today in League One. They are a goal behind against Burton Albion. Matthew Dennis scoring inside 5 minutes there. Leif Davis takes the throw in for Ipswich, and Enciso was beaten to the ball in the midfield by Granit Xhaka, and the ball rolls back to Robin Roofs away to our right hand side. He's left-footed clearance down the left hand side, trying to pick out Nilson Angulo, the Ecuadorian, who claims he was fouled. Siddiqui doesn't wait for that decision. He carries on and he's into the penalty area. Siddiqui lashes it in low straight to the gloves of the goalkeeper Kjell Sherpen. Still 0-0 here.
Yeah, interesting battle down this near side in front of us with Darragh O'Shea playing out of his usual centre-half position at right-back, and Angulo showed brilliant strength just to try and body him to not allow him to head the ball, and Siddiqui from just inside the central midfield area makes a real good run down the outside of the 18-yard box. Lovely quick feet, but just fizzes one too close to Sherpen.
It's a big week coming up for Preston North End. They will host Everton in the EFL Cup in midweek, and former manager David Moyes Preston up against newly relegated Wolverhampton Wanderers in the Championship today, and Wolves have taken the lead there for Lopez after 8 minutes, making it Preston North End 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1. West Ham are trailing in the Championship, and other than newly relegated teams, Charlton have taken the lead at London Stadium, as here comes Angulo down the left for Sunderland. Can he get the cross right? It came in behind Brobby, and it's intercepted by Leif Davis, and Ipswich look to play their way out for the back. But already Sunderland look very dangerous on the counter-attack.
It's down that near hand right hand side. He's played a ball just inside Darragh O'Shea, who's just trying to get too tight to Angulo, which allowed him to just drop his shoulder on the right and then run away to his left in behind. He just couldn't find Brian Bobby in the middle, and credit to Leif Davis again, a much more defensively sound performance from him so far than he's shown in the Premier League in their last time out here. So that's something he's had to work on and add to his game, so credit to him for clearing up that one for Ipswich. But again, the warning signs are when they break for Sunderland, they've got extreme pace and power on that break.
Ipswich Town 0, Sunderland 0 here. Bobby's on his bike again, but the ball bounces away from him and through to Sherpen, the new Ipswich Town goalkeeper, wearing a sort of teal blue, away to our left hand side. In League 2, Crawley Town have taken the lead away at Rochdale. In the Championship, Southampton have gone 1-0 up against Stoke, and in League 1, Huddersfield away from town and MK Dons have taken the lead there. Ipswich have possession of the back. Issa Diop gives it to Jacob Greaves into the midfield. Neat and tidy from Ipswich as they work it up to the halfway line, and Sunderland no real high press from the visitors as they retreat. And now Greaves looks expansively towards Maida on the left wing. Great first touch from the Japanese international, and he makes a burst towards the penalty area. He's unlucky there. He was taking on Thomas Meunier. The ball did hit the Belgian, but it came back off the Japanese international before going out of play, so no corner for Ipswich Town. That is a goal kick. Ipswich 0, Sunderland 0.
Yeah, good bit of a play from Ipswich, but credit to Sunderland. You mentioned the experience that's been added, and that one addition in Meunier at right back. That just shows you what he's all about. Maida's taking him on just on towards the byline. He didn't dive in, just made Maida make a decision and took the ball off him, and he gets himself a goal kick. So brilliant defending for Sunderland.
Siddiqui and Lafay in close quarters, aren't able to hold on to possession. Taken away by Maida again. Now gives it to the left hand side to Emerson just outside the penalty area. Several defenders right in his face though, including Enzo Lafay, so no clean shot for the Brazilian there. Ipswich Town hold on to possession. And a short ball from Sasa Lukic, the Serbian international, well used to life in the Premier League of course for many years at Fulham. This is Lukic once again, who's got a bandage on his right wrist. Calm in possession as he swivels around a few times and then plays a good ball up towards Enciso on the edge of the penalty area. Flicked it to Emerson, tries to return it to Enciso. In lunges Luke O'Neill to head the ball away, but Sunderland can't get it fully clear. Leif Davis on the left wing for Ipswich Town, playing from left to right as we look down here. Wind just blustering around Portman Road at the moment. Jacob Greaves gives it back to Lukic once again. Davis on the left wing, clever ball in front of Maida, and then back again for Leif Davis, still midway inside the Sunderland half. Here comes the delivery into the penalty area. Big Dan Ballard with a leaping header is able to clear it away. And Gudo on the edge of his area. Oh, his pocket's been picked by Enciso. Ipswich fans are going to love that sort of work rate from Julio Enciso, as Fatawu makes the burst towards the byline, but good defending again by Reinildo. And Sunderland didn't want to just blast it away, trying to play their way out. And Siddiqui found himself closed down by Fatawu. Again, you know, fans of course want to see skill, but first and foremost, Luke, they want to see hard work and determination, and they certainly had it for the Ipswich Town players there.
Absolutely, and listen, there's a reason why Gary O'Neill's brought Julio Enciso back to the club, because he can go and press high up the pitch, and he showed that there. He brings that energy and again lifts the crowd at Portman Road, but they're just looking like they're putting bodies into the box early, Ipswich, but maybe delaying those balls in and those early crosses, which is allowing Sunderland to regroup and get numbers behind the ball.
0-0 here on Sports Extra at Portman Road. Blackburn Rovers 0, Middlesbrough 1 in the Championship. And a free kick here to Ipswich Town inside the centre circle. Farah Hallam is the referee today, assisted by Adrian Holmes and Simon Long. First time these two clubs have been in the top flight together in 25 years. They are due to meet again at the Stadium of Light in mid-April. We'll have a much better idea by then how their respective seasons are panning out, but at the moment not much to choose between Ipswich Town and Sunderland in the opening 13 minutes of the new campaign here at Portman Road. Sherpin has come way out of his penalty area here, up to the centre circle to take the free kick. Short run up from a giant of a goalkeeper. I believe he's the joint tallest player to ever play in the Premier League, Kjell Sherpin. 6'9" tall. He plays it into the penalty. Robin Roofs isn't that tall, but he manages to jump and he's fouled, and down he goes. You'll have heard, I'm sure, new rules of the Premier League this season about if a goalkeeper goes down and people having to leave the pitch. That doesn't apply if the goalkeeper is fouled, and because referee Farrell Hallam decided there that Robin Roofs was fouled, he can take as long as he wants here. He won't have to leave the field, or certainly one of his teammates won't have to leave the field.
No, credit to Robin Roofs. He's very brave in the way he's come out and claimed that one, but Jacob Greaves definitely, as he lands and they both go and challenge for it, he lands on his Achilles, but the fans are certainly now questioning that as he lines up to take this goal kick just inside his penalty area, this free kick inside his penalty area.
Roofs rolls it low to Thomas Meunier at right back, clips it over the halfway line. Ball is intercepted by Leif Davis there, and the ball goes out now for a throw into Sunderland just inside their own half, far side of the pitch from us. A couple of goals to bring you up to date with in League 2. Barnet have gone 1-0 up away at Shrewsbury Town, and Exeter, who scored early, have scored again. An own goal from Seamus Keneally has it Exeter City 2, Accrington Stanley 0, with just 13 minutes played there. Ipswich Town 0, Sunderland 0 here. Sports Report with Mark Chapman coming up at 5 o'clock on our sister station 5 Live, and we will bring you full commentary of the 5:30 kickoff in the Premier League. Brentford against Spurs. John Murray will be alongside Michael Brown for commentary of that one over on 5 Live. Darragh O'Shea takes the throw in for Ipswich, back to Issa Diop. It feels like he's been around the Premier League forever, but he's still in his 20s, Issa Diop. There's a clearance from the tall Sherpin is flicked on by Darragh O'Shea, but aware of the danger, Luke O'Nien is able to slam the ball clear up over the halfway line. Strong, sturdy defending by Jacob Greaves. Fatawi's hungry for it here, trying to nip in on Reinaldo. And then when O'Shea plays the ball forward, there's no other teammate on that wavelength, and in fact the ball had gone out of play before it came back in again. So that is going to be a throw into Sunderland on the left-hand side of the pitch for them.
Yeah, 15 minutes in now, I think Sunderland will be really pleased of how they've started this game. You can see that level of consistency and familiarity between the players. They know exactly where they need to be, especially at centre-half in Ballard and O'Nien. They're working their angles and the distances between each other really, really well.
Oh, here's Siddiqui, just managing to slip away from a challenge, getting up level with the edge of the penalty area. Enzo Lafay might fancy one here. Rushing out to block him was Nunez. Lafay's done well to hold on to possession. Here's Angulo into the penalty area. Good tackle by Fatawu. And then Fatawi's a little over-exuberant with his second attempt. First tackle, very good. Then a needless foul conceded immediately afterwards. Free kick to Sunderland on the left-hand side, still 0-0.
Yeah, brilliant first bit of defending. Angulo, real positive going at Fatawu, but then it's just a 50-50 almost. And then Angulo just gets himself in front of Fatawu, right near the byline, just in level with the edge of the 18-yard box. And now a real opportunity for Sunderland to put some pressure on Ipswich Town. Real poor decision from the winger for Ipswich to give that free kick away.
Granit Xhaka has come over to have a look at this free kick, and Lafay is out there as well. No surprise to see Ipswich bring their full complement of 11 players back behind the ball to defend this. It's an attacking position, level with the edge of the penalty area. Left-hand side as Sunderland come forward. Bright sunshine beaming down on Portman Road, but this little section where the free kick will be taken is in the shade. Lafay runs over it. Xhaka delivers left-footed. Not his cleanest connection you've ever seen, and it's easily cleared away by Nunez. O'Nien tries to pop it back in. Jacob Greaves wins a header. Ipswich can't fully clear though. Mounier will give it to Tri-Hume on the right-hand side, and then a good challenge comes in from Maida. Been impressed with him in the early stages. The new signing from Celtic, as the ball goes out of play for a throw into Sunderland.
Yeah, Maida's certainly covering some ground early on. The way he's working for his team, he's not playing as an out-and-out left winger in that three behind Emerson. He's really just dropping in front of Leif Davis, and they're having to defend at the moment in numbers, Ipswich, as they try and defend this long throw for Sunderland.
Yeah, Luke O'Nien wants to take a long run up here, but the proximity of the advertising board means he only really gets 2.5 steps. Mind you, that's a great lunge of a throw, got deep into the 6-yard box. Ball comes back out to O'Nien, lofts it in with his boot this time. Greaves jumps and wins the header, and then Enciso tries to flick it away, and that's good work by Nunez to flick it one side of the defender and then run around. Granit Xhaka sweeping in behind. He's able to shield the ball out of play for Sunderland. But that was good from Nunez. And Ipswich Town in particular putting in hard work in these early stages here at Portman Road. 18 minutes play. Ipswich Town 0, Sunderland 0. Enzo Lafay will bring possession up to the halfway line. There's so many unknowns on this opening day of the season, and Ipswich Town fans really interested to see how their many new recruits are able to combine here. Debuts for Emerson, for Fatawu, for Maida. Debut second time around for Enciso. Debut for Sasa Lukic, for Sherpin. It's a lot of new players all together at once. And you know, we saw with Nottingham Forest a few seasons ago, you can overbuy, you can bring in too many, and it just becomes a bit of a muddle.
Yeah, and I think Gary O'Neill probably would be really pleased with how his team have gelled and started. Yes, there hasn't been free-flowing attacking football, but the way they're having to defend and just answer the questions that Sunderland are asking of them, they've done that brilliantly in the way they've defended. And I think Sasa Lukic is looking like he's really settled into dictating that possession in terms of the way Granit Xhaka does for Sunderland. So they're looking for him at every opportunity to drop in between Greaves and Diop in that centre-half, almost quarterback position, and he's done that so well in this sort of opening 20 minutes now. So I think Gary O'Neill will be relatively pleased.
Each of the last 4 top-flight seasons that Ipswich have played in, they've always lost on the opening weekend of the campaign. 0-0 for the moment. And so far, many positives for new head coach Gary O'Neill. Ipswich have possession just inside their own half. Issa Diop rolls it short to Darragh O'Shea. His ball over the halfway line for Tawu, careless, gives it away. You can hear the groans in the background. Angulo collects it for Sunderland, tries to take off down the left-hand side. Never really had that fully under his control. And credit to Fatawu. He made the mistake to give it away, but then he worked really hard to put pressure on Angulo to win it back.
Well, I think that's credit to Fatawu, because certain questions were asked of him and his professionalism and the way his part he had to play in. Leicester City getting relegated from the Championship last season, so his reaction there will be exactly what Gary O'Neill wants from him.
Here comes Fatawu, skipping down the right hand side, tried to nudge it into Emerson. The ball is deflected off 09, and that goes out for a throw in to Ipswich Town down the right hand side. Still 0-0 in League 2. Swindon Town have taken the lead against Cheltenham. Port Vale are 1-0 up against Tranmere Rovers. Cardiff City in the Championship have taken the lead away at Derby County. And a couple of goals in League 2. Rotherham United 1, York City 0. And Oldham have taken the lead away at Colchester United. Renildo, there was appeals that he had handled it. The referee was close by and said no, play on. Sunderland have possession bang on the halfway line with Inza Lafay, who chipped in with a few important goals last season in the Premier League for Regis Lebris. This is Xhaka, back to Mounier, and back to Dan Ballard, who rolls it ultimately to the feet of the goalkeeper Robin Roos. And that's very high risk unnecessarily there. Roos playing the ball to Granit Xhaka, who was so closely marked just in front of the penalty. Xhaka gets away with it, but that just felt skating on thin ice there.
Well, it felt needless, didn't it? I think they were in so much good possession. Ballard plays it back in to Roos. He could have come out this side, this near side to us, to Luke 09, but Joe still put that risky one. And credit to Ipswich, they are getting after the ball high up the pitch and trying to put that pressure on Sunderland to make them make those mistakes.
No goals yet in the 3 o'clock kickoffs on this first Saturday of the new campaign. Earlier on today, Hull City beating Manchester United by 2-0. But it's Everton 0, Crystal Palace 0 at the moment. Nottingham Forest 0, Leeds 0, and here at Portman Road, Ipswich Town 0, Sunderland 0, and Brobby's trying to get onto another one into the penalty area, and he was the meat between the sandwich of two defenders who stood their ground well, and Brobby has committed the foul, and that's a free kick to Ipswich. He's looked dangerous whenever the balls come near him though, the Dutchman.
He certainly has, and you can't give Sunderland's players, especially Lafay, time and space on the ball to try and play a ball straight through the middle of Ipswich Town's back four, but credit to Leif Davis again on the cover off of Greaves' left shoulder, gets round, snuffs out the danger, makes the challenge when it could have easily been touch and finish for Brian Bobby up top for Sunderland. So great bit of defending again.
You mentioned how many new faces have come in for Ipswich. For the likes of Leif Davis, Darrow Shea, who were here the last time the club were in the top flight, do you think they will have learned from that previous experience and the tough times that Ipswich had to endure that season?
I think it's always difficult, isn't it? You come and you get promotion, and the way they did it in the first time, Ipswich, they blew the league away almost. Yes, it went to the final few games of the season, but they played with so much attacking intent. I think they tried to carry that on in the Premier League, and it certainly looks like now we're looking at Sunderland possession on the halfway line. Every single blue shirt is behind the ball, being hard to beat, and they know now they've got that bit of extra quality and pace on the counter-attack.
This last time Ipswich went down, they did have the goals of Liam Delap. Hang on, mistake by 09 here, and Enciso's away, and he takes on Ballard. Julio Enciso skips it to Emerson. It's 1-0 to Ipswich Town. Brilliant from Enciso. Finished so well by Emerson, the Brazilian. And I'll tell you what, the new season is really up and running at Portman Road. It's Ipswich Town 1, Sunderland 0.
Absolutely incredible. And we spoke about the pace, the power on the counter-attack for Ipswich Town. And I mentioned Julio Enciso about 10 minutes ago, how he likes to press. And he nicks the ball off Luke 09 just on the edge of the halfway line, drives through. Dan Ballard looks like he's going to cover the danger, and he approaches Enciso with too much pace, and he dives in, and it's way too easy for him to nip round him. And then on the cover, Enciso just uses Mounier to roll it along the penalty spot to Emerson to just tap it into an opening goal as Roos just tries to close the danger. Brilliant bit of counter-attacking football from Ipswich.
The first of what Ipswich Town fans hope will be many goals in Ipswich Blue for the Brazilian Emerson. £28 million signing from Toulouse. That is the first big instalment of a repayment. That's what he's been brought in to do. It was a tap in after brilliant work from Julio Enciso. I mean, talk about lightning. the way he skipped past not one but two defenders in the build-up to that goal.
It was just a mistake from 09 that he was just able to get out of his feet, ride 09's tackle, stay on his feet and just drive through the middle. And Ballard will certainly ask himself questions, because he should have just delayed, dropped off, let Enciso bring the ball, give his teammates a chance to recover, but he stepped in towards the ball and Enciso just nicks it round him, and then he has all the time in the world. He could have slotted it away himself. So brilliant bit of work and quality.
And Enciso in possession again is fouled by Dan Ballard, and Ballard not taking any prisoners there, having seen Julio Enciso hurdle over him in the build-up to the opening goal. Ballard was going to make very sure that Enciso would not progress on that occasion. That was a deliberate foul. Free kick to Ipswich on the halfway line. And listen to the noise at Portman Road. This is Five Line Sports Extra for the BBC. And having done so well in the Championship last season, Ipswich hoping to bring those good vibes to the Premier League. And no better way than to take the lead midway through the first half of their first home game of the new season. Match of the day, by the way, tonight, 10:20 on BBC One. You can see highlights of all of today's Premier League games. So Shea has come forward here. Oh, he's done really well to keep that alive. Emerson, closely policed by Ballard, can't get a clean touch, and Roofs comes out and gathers possession. Ipswich Town 1, Sunderland 0. Interesting to see how Sunderland react to this now. 9 gives it to Renildo. To the halfway line, and Goulot. They're working really hard. Ipswich. Fatawu slides in on Siddiqui. And Sunderland not being allowed to settle as they try to regain their stride.
No, Sunderland looked like they tried to just inject a little bit more pace and direction in their attack, but credit to Fatawu again. He's driving back, recovering, making tackles.
Sunderland attack down the right-hand side, playing from right to left as we look down in their pink shirts today. This is Granit Xhaka giving the ball to Enzo Lefebvre. His cross took a deflection that only veered it closer to the goalkeeper, and Kjell Sherpen is able to come out and make the save. Sherpen, who was a summer signing from Belgian club Union Saint-Gilloise, but he does know a lot about English football. He was once on the books of Brighton. Emerson, now he's done well, flipping it down to Enciso, fouled again by Ballard. Referee says play on because Ipswich still have possession. Enciso comes back to his feet. He's had a brilliant start to this game, Julio Enciso. Now, Leif Davis attacking down the left-hand side for Ipswich. 27 minutes on the big stadium clock. This is Sasa Lukic, centre of the midfield. Exchanges passes with Nunes, and plenty space here for Issa Diop. And now out to the right wing to Fatawu. There's been a nice balance to the Ipswich team in these early stages. Disappointing delivery off the left foot of Fatawu. And Sunderland should be able to clear here. Granit Xhaka just outside his own penalty area, looking up. Great awareness there to spot Mounier in space, and Thomas Mounier will come forward now into Ipswich Town territory, bearing down on the opposition penalty area. Lefebvre makes himself available just on the edge of the box. Ipswich have worked hard to get bodies back. Header on target, Siddiqui, what a save. Kjell Sherpen reacting in an instant. I have to say, I thought that was in. Close range header with plenty of power. That's a wonderful save to preserve Ipswich Town's lead.
Brilliant ball in from Trey Hume. It's the first time Ipswich really just stood off Sunderland, and he was able to just stand on the corner of the penalty area and just drop one in towards the penalty spot with his right foot, and it's just curling away from Diop. But it's Siddiqui's late run through the middle, and he just connections brilliant. But Sherpen, fantastic save for Ipswich. It's a corner to Sunderland.
Noah Siddiqui, who is yet to score a goal for Sunderland. That was so close. Corner is taken short to Trey Hume. There's all sorts of pushing in the penalty area. Referee says play on. Luke O'Neill tries to drill in a shot, and that one is blocked away, and it comes back to Robin Roofs, who's playing real sweeper keeper here. He's up at the halfway line, lofts it into the penalty area. Ballard's going to try and keep this alive. He's right by the byline, and he's done well to shield it, and he earns a corner for his team. Decent response actually in recent minutes from Sunderland, because Ipswich were on a real high after scoring, but now Sunderland asking questions of their own here, trailing by 1-0.
Yeah, it was, and I think it was almost a little bit of hesitation from the set piece. The corner comes in, it's played to Trey Hume on the corner of the 18-yard box, and none of the Ipswich players shut the ball down. It's then played out to 09, who tries to take a 30-yard strike on goal, but warning sign for Ipswich.
Ipswich 1, Sunderland 0. Granit Xhaka to take a corner for the visitors. In-swinger towards the front post, it was flicked on, but flashed through all the other bodies. Enciso sprints to try and get there first as the ball reaches the touchline. Referee gives the throw into Sunderland. That's been taken quickly. Sunderland have just stepped up a gear in recent minutes, so 9 gives the ball to Lafay. That's a lovely turn, a Cruyff turn to go around Enciso, but then when he tries to take on Abdul Fattah, the new signing is able to win the ball back for Ipswich, and he releases it towards Emerson, and Mounier is the last defender back, but he keeps his cool under pressure. It's a good game now. The tempo has really increased with half an hour played at Portman Road.
Yeah, and again, front foot press. You look at it's 4v4 in Sunderland's half, and Nunes has gone, Maeda's gone. Enciso and Emerson driving towards Robin Roos, trying to put that pressure on Sunderland to not allow them to start to dictate possession as they have done in that last 5 minutes since Ipswich took the lead.
Some goals to update you with elsewhere. In the Championship, Wrexham are back on level terms, having gone behind at home against Watford. Leicester City now 2-0 behind at home against Brighton Albion. Here's a chance for Ipswich. Emerson for Enciso, and he can't keep the shot down. 7 yards out. Emerson trying to lay it to the plate for Julio Enciso, and he'll be disappointed not to have hit the target there.
Very difficult chance for Enciso. It just bounces up ahead of him, but credit again to Emerson down that far left-hand side in front of the travelling Sunderland support, and he gets away from Mounier and Ballard too easily, and he gets away, just tries to cut it back towards the penalty spot. Enciso arriving, just catches the left foot volley, and it goes over the crossbar.
Ipswich Town 1, Sunderland 0. Chances at both ends since Emerson's goal in the 24th minute. Roos has possession for Sunderland here just inside his own penalty area. Leicester City's day has gone from bad to worse. 2-0 down and now down to 10 men. Oliver Skipp, the former Spurs player, has been sent off there. Leicester City 0, Burton Albion 2. Southampton 1, Stoke City 1. That's an equaliser for Stoke. As Ballard comes out of defence for Sunderland, far side of the pitch from us. Gives it to Mounier. Now into the midfield to try Hume, and now up to the halfway line to Enzo Lafay. Sunderland have got to keep their cool. There's a long way to go here. Granit Xhaka to Angulo. Just level with the edge of the area. Lofts it in. Good ball towards Brobby, and it just skips away. But it's kind of spinning and curling. And what looked like a good cross became a delivery straight out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, it certainly looked a little bit rushed from Sunderland, and they just got to try and stay as calm as they can. Yes, Ipswich are putting pressure on them, but when they are playing round that press, they're getting themselves into decent chances and decent positions to deliver balls in the box, and just a long, hopeful cross with no real pace on it for Sunderland. It just drifts out for a goal kick.
Equaliser for Derby at home to Cardiff City. Carlton Morris has made a Derby 1, Cardiff City 1. And possession for Sunderland at the moment with Luke O'Nien, who's making the 450th appearance of his career. His senior debut was back in 2014 when he was a Watford player. Luke O'Nien, who the last time Sunderland beat Ipswich, he was on the score sheet. That was 6 years ago in League One. Nunes there went sprinting in on Roofs, got that huge roar of get rid of it from the travelling Sunderland fans. Big roars of encouragement from Ipswich fans, but Sunderland get away with that one. And then strong in the challenge into Lafay as the ball goes out of play on the far side, but out of play for a throw-in to Ipswich, who still lead here by 8-0. Luke Chambers.
I'm just looking down at Regis Labrie on his technical area. He's just stood there with his arms folded, and he's looking at Robin Roos in that goal. He just seems to be taking a few too many chances for my liking, indeed. Just trying to Cruyff turn Emerson under pressure again, just bringing that little bit of uncertainty to Sunderland, and they just need to stay a bit calmer in their approach and keeping possession.
Ipswich slow to clear the ball away. Darrell O'Shea charged down by Angulo. Ball goes out of play. Throw in for Ipswich just down below us. As O'Shea stands with the ball above his head and throws it ultimately back to Issa Diop, former West Ham and Fulham player, on the edge of his penalty area for new team Ipswich Town here, defending the Sir Bobby Robson stand in the first half. This is a left-footed clearance towards O'Shea, who jumps and wins it on the halfway line. O'Nien gets the ball down on the deck. Clever ball in field to Granit Xhaka, who didn't get a shot of man on, and good work from Maida to win possession back for Ipswich. 1-0 to the home side here on BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra. Leif Davis on the far side of the pitch gives it back to Jacob Greaves, former Hull City defender. What a day for his former team today, beating Manchester United by 2 goals to 0. And Cisso's at it again, putting real pressure on Dan Ballard. Ballard is finding Enciso too hot to handle at the moment. Fatawu, bit of space on the right hand side, steps into the penalty area, lofts it across. Luke O'Nien with the header, Xhaka with a calming ball towards Siddiqui, and Sunderland survived that.
Brilliant break again. It's that man, we've mentioned him so many times, Julio Enciso, picks the ball up, shrugs Dan Ballard off. Certainly a foul, but credit to Halam in the All Black. Just the referee allows the play to go on, and they drive it out to this near side of Fatawu, and you're thinking, can you get at the fullback? Can you go and take Ronaldo on, take him inside? But he chooses to make a cross, and it's no real intention, and just comes to nothing for Ipswich, but promising signs again.
Here comes Sunderland, trailing by a goal to 0. Decent surge forward from O'Nien. He came from central defence all the way to the byline down the left-hand side, and he's unlucky there. It ends up being a goal kick after what was a very good run forward. Now the referee, who would allow play to continue, once the ball has gone dead, he's come back to show that yellow card to Dan Ballard.
Yeah, right decision as well, and you're just seeing a replay of that right on the halfway line, and Ciso shrugs him off. He almost gets himself in a headlock from Ballard, but gets away, and he's just really getting the whole of Portman Road on their feet at the moment every time the ball goes near, and whether that's pressing high on Sunderland or picking the ball up and using it really, really well in an attacking sense.
Dan Ballard's got to be careful now on a yellow card. A player who you'll remember was sent off last season. One of those controversial hair pull decisions for which the rules have been relaxed this season. Last season, any pull of hair at all was a straight red card, and this time there's going to have to be a violence to it. It can't just be a gentle, grab of the hair. You have to, yank it to foul, into sort of jeopardy to get a red card, which is probably the sensible move, because there was some curious ones last season. But Ballard's got to be careful now on this yellow card.
Absolutely he has, and we know what Dan Ballard's like. He likes to play front foot, he likes to be aggressive, he likes to try and dominate physically, and he's certainly been up against it within Ciso and Emerson in this opening 35 minutes.
Ronaldo back to Granit Xhaka, who's forced to retreat. And Sunderland, who enjoyed such a wonderful campaign last season, they finished 7th in the Premier League. They have qualified for the Europa League, the club's first European football since 1973. But just because you've done it one year doesn't guarantee you anything the following campaign, and they've got to roll up their sleeves here. This is Siddiqui. Now this is a good burst into the penalty area. Left-hand side, pulls it back. Here's Mounier, tries to get the shot in, and it's blocked by Maeda. Good work from the Japanese international again. That was a dangerous Sunderland attack. Ipswich holding on to their 1-0 lead here. Time running out in the first half. Granit Xhaka, was he fouled there on the edge of the area? He was fouled by Issa Diop, and this is a free kick in shooting range for Sunderland. This is the most dangerous set-piece position they've been given in this first half so far.
And you're right, Connor, they've absolutely been given it. Diop comes steaming out of his centre-half position right through the back of Granit Xhaka, just 4 or 5 yards outside the 18-yard box. It's a real opportunity for Sunderland, this, and credit to Ipswich, defended really calmly so far in this opening 40 minutes, and that one there, just a rush of blood to the head from Diop, gives Sunderland a massive opportunity.
And if you're just joining our coverage here on Sports Extra, Ipswich Town leading Sunderland by a goal to 0. Emerson, the first Ipswich Town player to score on a Premier League debut for the club in 26 years. And now they've got to defend with this free kick for Sunderland, who are attacking the penalty area away to our left-hand side. Xhaka's got to be fancy to strike this, but Enzo the Fee hit a few free kicks last season too. He's the right-footed option, Xhaka a left-footed option. It's always interesting which player actually places the ball, and Angulo is the one who's done that this time, the Ecuadorian. So Sherpen won't be too confident as to who's going to hit this. He's erected a 5-man wall. It is Angulo, and it's in! Brilliant! What a free kick to the top corner, dispatched expertly. It skimmed over the top of the wall. It dipped in under the crossbar. You really can't hit a free kick any better than that. And Kjell Sherpen, all 6'9" of him, even he couldn't get anywhere near it. Perfect free kick to Sunderland, and they get it back to 1-1. Ipswich 1, Sunderland 1.
What a free kick, and you mentioned Granit Xhaka stood over it. I think everyone thought it was going to be him, but Angulo sets himself, sets the ball, 3 steps, whips one over the wall as they all turn and look back on it. crashes in off the crossbar, down past the finish line. 1-1.
So Ipswich have been unable to hold their lead to half-time. Sunderland fans delighted, they're all housed far side from us. That's some free kick, Luke.
Brilliant quality, and I think that is the sign that Ipswich Town know was always in the back of Sunderland's hand, and you have to question the decision from Issa Diop steaming out to give that free kick away at such an important time in the first half. They've dealt with everything so far, but brilliant response from Sunderland.
A couple of early scares that Ipswich got away with, little uncertainties in the penalty area, but those were in the opening minutes. For the last half an hour of game time, Ipswich had been solid at the back, but this is the Premier League, these are the standards, and a mistake by Diop has been really harshly punished there. Here come Sunderland now, who've suddenly got wind in their sails. Renildo to the byline, plays it off O'Shea and gets a corner, and suddenly Ipswich are squirming a bit now.
And that flood forward of that powder pink now is Sunderland. Every single man's running forward, and it's another set piece for Ipswich Town to defend, and the Portman Road fans certainly don't like it as they start to boo, but credit to Sunderland, what a response, and that just bit of extra quality just lets Ipswich Town know that this is the Premier League, and what a free kick. Worrying signs before the half-time whistle. Cardiff
2-1 in front now away at Derby. In League 2 it is 1-1 between Rotherham and York. That's an equaliser for York. In League 1 Blackpool have doubled their lead away at Stockport County. Stockport 0, Blackpool 2. Josh Bowler has scored there. The corner for Sunderland is taken short. Then Granit Xhaka plays it in towards the back post, overstruck. Enciso picks it up with a bit of space. Could he launch a counter-attack from here? Emerson's making hard work trying to run forward and give him an option, and Enciso does look for the Brazilian, the man whose goal gave Ipswich the lead earlier on. Good tracking back by Siddiqui there, and made a try to just slide in to win possession, but he was unable to do so. We said earlier on when Ipswich took the lead how Sunderland would react, and the answer was they reacted well. Now the question is, how do Ipswich react, having lost that early advantage that they did hold at 1-1. Mounier has possession on the right-hand side for Sunderland. Gives it into Enzo Lefebvre. There are 3 minutes of normal time remaining in the first half. That's lovely footwork from Nunez. Oh, and nearly a through ball for Fatawu. He would have been clean in. Ranildo makes a very important interception.
Yeah, great recovery. It looked like Fatawu had just nicked a yard on him, and Lukic tried to fizz one through between Ronaldo and 09 just towards the corner of the 18-yard box, and Fatawu would have been in, but he just got to the ball before it got to Fatawu. Good recovery.
You stretch back to last season. This is now 7 Premier League away games in a row that Sunderland have scored in. They kept their cool after a disappointing start with that Emerson opening goal, which at the time was sort of against their run of play. It was certainly a counter-attacking goal. But Sunderland, inspired by their strong performance last season, were able to trust the process, and they've got themselves back on level terms here on the cusp of half-time. Throw in to Ipswich Town. Darragh O'Shea to take. Ipswich 1, Sunderland 1. O'Shea sends it towards the halfway line. Straight to Granit Xhaka. Poor throw. Xhaka into Hume. Won back by Emerson. He looks good, Emerson, on his Premier League debut. Leif Davis comes charging forward. Enciso's ahead of him. Enciso into the penalty area. Good close touch control. Tries to flick it in towards the teammates who are in field of him. It's blocked by a defender. Comes back to Enciso. Fatawu waited for the ball to come for him, and he didn't have that luxury. That's a good crunching tackle though by Jacob Reeves as Siddiqui picks up loose possession, and it's a good game at the moment here at Portman Road. 2 teams really getting stuck in. 2 teams who believe they can go and win this. Xhaka just slows down the pace now, walking on the halfway line, ball at his feet, and rolls it into Siddiqui. That experience from Granit Xhaka. He knows when to take the fizz out of the bottle sometimes. Ballard just rolls the ball under his studs, gives it short into the midfield to Siddiqui. Ballard now plays another 1-2, this time with Mounier on the far side. Just over 2 minutes of normal time to go until the break. Lefebvre to Ballard. Everyone apart from Emerson back behind the ball for Ipswich Town. If you're just joining our coverage, Ipswich went in front through Emerson, but a quite brilliant free kick from Angelo has made it 1-1 here, still in the first half at Portman Road.
Yeah, and I think this is where you're now seeing a Sunderland are just slowing the game down, just taking possession, taking the sting out of it. I think they realise that Ipswich Town want to play front-footed. They want it to be high energy, high excitement for the crowd, so they can use Portman Road as that little bit maybe of an extra man but they're now just slowing it down since they've got that equaliser, just dictating the possession, and I think that just shows you the difference in experience that we're seeing between the two teams at the moment.
Robbie right on the shoulder of the defender there, trying to time his run to stay onside, and it's one of those where the assistant races it belatedly, but by that stage the chance was gone anyway. Brian Brobby trying to squeeze in between Jacob Greaves and Issa Diop whenever he can. Nilsson Angulo's goal, by the way, his first in the Premier League. He didn't score in the top flight last season. What a way to do it. Brilliant free kick. You'll see it tonight on Match of the Day. 10:20 on BBC One. Mark Chapman in the chair along with Wayne Rooney and Alan Shearer this evening. You can also get a replay of that early tomorrow morning. Enciso tries to come forward. Well tackled by Granit Xhaka. Into additional time we go. 2 minutes of stoppages to be added on. Enzo Laffi for Sunderland, midway inside his own half. Ronaldo to Angulo on the left-hand side, back again to Ronaldo. That goal, by the way, Sunderland scoring direct from a free kick. That is rarer than you would imagine for an opening goal of a season. First time any Premier League team has got their first goal of a Premier League season from a direct free kick in 4 years. But it was such a well-taken free kick, and he'll be absolutely delighted with that. So Robin Roofs is going to take this free kick for Sunderland, and he's wagging his finger here. He's encouraging his teammates to push up as high as they can on the field. Ipswich are actually holding quite a high defensive line here, well up the field, within 15 yards of the halfway line, so there's lots for Roofs to try and play into behind. Jacob Greaves watches it coming, wins the header. And then Maida was jumping for it with Nunez. Angulo tries to get there, but he's beaten by Dara O'Shea just outside the penalty area. O'Shea's clearance returns possession to Sunderland, who have it with Luke O'Nien on the halfway line. He's got Dan Ballard away to his right-hand side. Up to Mounier, the new signing. Back to Ballard once again. Ballard under a bit of pressure with Emerson charging in on him. Gary O'Neill's got to be really impressed with the high press from his players today, because they have put Sunderland under a lot of pressure.
They definitely have, and they're doing it again now, but every time Sunderland have just seemed to settle into a rhythm, and they're playing through the lines very, very easily.
Xhaka plays through the press, gives it to Mounier, bearing down on the penalty area. Back to Siddiqui, just seemed to hesitate a little bit. He's got Angulo outside him. Level with the edge of the penalty area. Ronaldo gets involved. That's a good cross in towards the back post. Trahum jumps but can't get a touch. And Jacob Greaves should be able to clear this away, and he does. Left-footed up to the halfway line, and we've now played the 2 minutes that were due to be added on for stoppages, and the referee brings the whistle to his mouth, and that is half-time. Ipswich Town back in the Premier League. They took the lead midway through the first half. A debut goal for the Brazilian Emerson, set up by a wonderful counter-attacking surge by Julio Enciso. But credit to Sunderland, who didn't panic. They kept their cool, and when they were given the opportunity of a free kick on the edge of the penalty area, Angulo was able to hit it to the top corner. A quite brilliant goal. Ipswich Town 1, Sunderland 1, Luke.
And to be fair, you can't disagree that Sunderland didn't deserve that equalising goal, but it's been a real even first half. I think both teams have had their moments. They've had bits of quality. Ipswich Town certainly pressing high, playing with high energy. It's just a question now in that second half. Does Sunderland's experience counteract Ipswich Town's aggression and intent to go and force the issue? So can they keep that up for 90 minutes?
Everton have taken the lead home against Crystal Palace towards the end of the first half of their game on Merseyside. But here a couple of goals, one apiece between Ipswich and Sunderland. And Ipswich, well, they'll be disappointed, having had the lead, not to have kept it through to half-time. And Gary O'Neill, I guess he'll be positive though, Luke, because you take that one Diop error, giving away that free kick. Apart from that, Ipswich have done really well. Yeah,
you mentioned there's a couple of opening, just a bit of nervousness from Ipswich, and they gave a couple of opportunities away, but they defended really, really well, especially Maeda, just dropping in to try and help with that back four as well. So I think he'll be pleased with the way they defended it, and he will certainly be angry, and he'll be cross with the way his centre half's been able to give that ball, that free kick, an opportunity to Sunderland at that key time in the game.
After this game there will be more live sport here on Sports Extra at 5 p.m. Rugby League, live commentary of the Super League match between Hull Kingston Rovers and Toulouse, and at 7:30 this evening more Rugby League from the Super League, Catalan Dragons against Hull FC. For the duration of half-time we're going to join our colleagues on 5 Live and find out what's been happening elsewhere up and down the land. But for here at Portman Road at half-time, it is Ipswich Town 1, Sunderland 1.
counter-attack. He's hit it right-footed and has hit the post again. We did have a VAR check as well. Branthwaite clipped in the box, but the defender was ruled to be offside anyway. It's been a great 45 minutes of football. It's Everton 1, Crystal Palace 0.
Earlier it finished Hull 2, Manchester United 0. In the Championship earlier, a last-gasp penalty for Birmingham got them a 2-2 draw at home to Bristol City. Portsmouth won 3-1 at Lincoln. Millwall beat 10-man Norwich by 3-0. Difficult first half in front of a capacity crowd for West Ham this afternoon by the sounds of it. Becky Ives.
Certainly has been. West Ham 0, Charlton 1. Really confident start for Charlton. A goal in the first 10 minutes. Sonny Carey with a long throw. It bounced in the box. It fell to captain Lloyd Jones. He chested it down, put it in the bottom right-hand corner with a super impressive overhead bicycle kick. West Ham, they managed to keep hold of the ball, have far more possession. You can see the patterns of play, but there is just no end product. Tassi Castellanos, right in the stroke half-time with a really weak header from close range, is probably the best chance that they had. This London Stadium crowd booed at half-time.
All square at St Mary's. Emily.
Southampton 1, Stoke 1. Carl Laring continues his goal-scoring streak, finding the net in every game this season. He opened inside 10 minutes, breaking the line, but a lapse in concentration allowed new signing Ethan Galbraith to level, firing home his first Stoke goal from inside the 6-yard box. Half-time, Southampton 1, Stoke 1.
John Bennett saw Middlesbrough win at home last week. He's watching them win away this week.
They have been superb. They're looking sharp. Some free-flowing football. Blackburn 0, Middlesbrough 1. Just the one goal. Jeremy Sarmiento's low finish across goal after Morgan Whittaker's through ball. And at the other end, Ryoya Morishita had a volley saved off the line by Luke Ayling, and Radek Vitex made two very good saves. Blackburn 0, Middlesbrough 1.
Lee Blakeman next at Loftus Road.
QPR 0, Bolton 0. This has been excellent for a game with no goals in it. QPR with so many chances. Harvey Vale from distance had one tipped over by the brilliant Jack Bonham, who denied Kone twice in 2 minutes, once with his legs from close range, then from a one-on-one low down to his right. That was a brilliant save. 6 efforts on target, QPR, none for Bolton. QPR 0, Bolton 0 though.
Thank you. All square in North Wales as well. Mark.
Well, it's Wrexham 1, Watford 1. New signing Danny Imre endearing himself to the Wrexham locals on his racecourse debut with a 21st minute goal and a couple of other chances, making the home side look more dangerous despite it being end to end. Of course, Watford opening 13 minutes in with Luca Chiaramgard's goal, and it's Wrexham 1, Watford 1.
Preston lost on the opening day at Bolton. They last won at home in the Championship on the 20th of March, and they're struggling again. Adam Cottier.
A goal down at home to Wolverhampton Wanderers here after an early goal from Fer Lopez, allowed to turn on the halfway line and run more than 40 yards into the penalty area, and he scored with a left foot shot that was so pure and into the top corner of the goal. Rodrigo Gomez almost scored at the end of the first half for Wolves, but a fine save from Daniel Everson denied him. Preston are struggling. They're 1-0 down at home to Wolves.
Elsewhere in the Championship, Derby 1, Cardiff 2. Cian Ashford put Cardiff ahead. Colton Morrison equalising for the home side, of then Yusuf Salek with his third of the season, but his first in the league, gives Brian Barry Murphy's side the lead at the break. At Swansea, they are goalless with Sheffield United. In League One earlier, Doncaster 0, Barnsley 0 and Luton 2, Notts County 2. Leicester, who had a difficult afternoon at Notts County last Saturday, are having another one today at home to Burton. Tom Gale.
Half-time, 10-man Leicester 1, Burton 2. Plenty of home boos on the whistle. Matt Dennis's first Burton goal after 5 minutes. 20 minutes later, Kegs Choke's first goal since New Year's Day 2025. Then Oliver Skipp's straight red for a high and dangerous challenge. Some Leicester fans had already left before Wes Burns reduced the deficit late in the half. Half-time, Leicester 1, Burton 2.
Like left or left gone for a drink?
Well, as in, you see them go. I don't know if they went to get a pint, but certainly there's a lot more visible blue seats was at the start of the day. Lots of optimism are quickly dismissed here.
Dear. Right, elsewhere in League One, we'll go to Bromley next. Cambridge, their visitors. Charlotte Richardson.
Bromley 0, Cambridge 0. The visitors dominating possession, piling on pressure from set pieces and in open play, but no breakthrough against a resilient home side. Michael Cheek, Bromley's all-time leading goal scorer, starved of any service, not even feeding on scraps. Andy Woodman's side lacking in the final third. At the break, it's Bromley 0, Cambridge 0.
AFC Wimbledon 0, Reading 0, MK Dons 0, Huddersfield 1 as Huddersfield go for 2 wins out of 2. It's goalless between Peterborough and Mansfield, and Stevenage and Oxford. Stockport, who had that good win at Plymouth last weekend, have had a miserable first 45 minutes at Edgeley Park against Blackpool. The visitors lead by 2-0. Tom Bloxham and Josh Bowler with his second of the season for Ian Everett's side. Wigan 0, Leyton Orient 1, and it's Wickham 0, Plymouth 1. Will Evans, who they signed from Mansfield in the summer, has got the goal there for Tom Cleverley's side. Earlier in League 2, Bristol Rovers 5, Newport 3, Salford 0, Chesterfield 1. Goalless between Walsall and Grimsby. We are at Rotherham against York with Shojo.
Half-time, Rotherham 1, York 1. Rotherham in front against the run of play as left-back Ewan Otto scored his first for the club, ghosting onto the near post to glance home a corner. York got a deserved equaliser through Alex Newby, slotting home a Harry Boyes cross. York's Ollie Pearce there has had missed 2 great chances after that, including a sitter at in added time. Very entertaining game. Half-time, Rotherham 1, York 1.
York having a very decent start to life back in the Football League. Rochdale less so. Naz Premji.
Rochdale 0, Crawley Town 1. The visitors lead thanks to an early goal from Pemia Doroju. The Peterborough Loney fired in 6 yards out after a great move down the left. Rochdale have had their chances. DeJean Brown headed straight at Mikalski from a Dan Moss cross. Ryan East also danced his way forward. His shot was blocked. Osman Camera has always looked dangerous for the visitors. Rochdale 0, Crawley Town 1.
Elsewhere, Colchester 0, Oldham 1, although Oldham have been reduced to 10 in that game. Crewe 0, Northampton 0. Exeter lead Accrington by 2-0. Fleetwood 0, Gillingham 0. Port Vale are a goal up on Tranmere. Shrewsbury 1, Barnet 1. Josh Davison with his second of the season, the equaliser for Shrewsbury in that game. And Aaron Drynan, who was Swindon's leading scorer last season, has opened his account for this season, and they lead Cheltenham by 1-0. All the National League games took place earlier, so these are all full times. They all kicked off at 12:30. Boston 1, Altrincham 0. Carlisle 4, Hornchurch 1. Eastleigh 3, Scunthorpe 2. Halifax 4, Tamworth 1. Forest Green Rovers 0, Boreham Wood 3. And Forest Green Rovers had a man sent off late on. Harrogate 2, Barrow 2. Kidderminster 1, Aldershot 1. Aldershot had 2 men sent off, and when they were down to 9, they got the equaliser. Solihull Moors 1, Southend 3. Sutton 2, Hartlepool 1. Woking 3, Fylde 2. Worthing 1, 10-man Wealdstone 0. And Yeovil beat Gateshead by 3-0. There's only one game in the Scottish Premiership this afternoon. It's the Dundee Derby at Tannadice. It kicks off at 5:45. Half-time in the Championship. Livingston 1, Dunfermline 0. Morton 0, Arbroath 1. Queen's Park 0, Stenhouse Muir 0. Ayr have had a miserable first half at Wraith. They trailed 2-0 and they've had a man sent off. In League 1, Airdrieonians 0, Ross County 2. Cove Rangers 0, Peterhead 0. East Fife 0, Hamilton 0. Montrose 2, East Kilbride 0. Goalless between Queen of the South and Alloa. And in League 2, Clyde 2, Forfar 0. Edinburgh City 0, Annan 0. Kelty Hearts 2, Dumbarton 1. Spartans 1, Elgin 2. And Stirling 0, Stranraer 2. You're up to date with all the afternoon's football. Closing stages of qualifying for the Dutch Grand Prix is on Sports Extra 3 right now, if you want to listen to that. We'll be back at the City Ground for the second half after the latest BBC News at 2 minutes to 4.
The voice of the UK. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
7 people have been killed in a crash involving a police vehicle and a car driving the wrong way along the A66 near Middlesbrough. 2 police officers are among the dead. The Prime Minister says he's devastated to hear about the collision. The Chief Constable for Cleveland Police, Victoria Fuller, has released a statement, which our reporter in Teesside, Philippa Goymer, has been reading.
She said, first and foremost, our thoughts are with the families of everyone involved in today's incident. No one should leave their home and not return safely, including police officers serving their communities and protecting the people of Cleveland. This tragic incident will be felt across Cleveland, within our communities and throughout the entire policing family.
The US has imposed... Apologies there. The US has imposed 50% tariffs on a wide range of Canadian goods, including wine and clothing, after trade talks between the two countries broke down. Canada said it will match any levies imposed by the US, understood to amount to $20 billion worth of trade. And a Chinese smartphone manufacturer claims one of its humanoid robots has broken the world record for the 100-metre sprint set by Usain Bolt 17 years ago. It reported reportedly ran it in 9.32 seconds at the World Humanoid Robot Games in Beijing, beating Bolt's record of 9.58 seconds.
On BBC iPlayer.
There is a problem. A British contractor was shot in Svalbard up in the Arctic Circle.
Put down the gun!
This is DCI Silva. I know who she is. We have to keep things contained.
They go to war over this.
This is not the fight you can win. The Russians are here, and it looks like they've come mob-handed.
Let's all stay calm. Okay, no one needs to get hurt. We need backup. Amy, no!
The new series of Vigil starts this Sunday on BBC iPlayer.
This is 5 Live Sports
with Mark Chapman. Coming up at 5:30, Brentford take on Spurs.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Let's round up the day's racing at York. Here's John.
Fair to say that trainer Alan King is better known for his 16 Cheltenham Festival winners, Mark, over the years, but he did have the brilliant staying horse Trushan on the flat a few years ago, and now back in the flat big time, at least for this afternoon, as Daiquiri Bay stormed to victory at 10-1 to win this afternoon's Ebor. He had also won at Royal Ascot, so that horse is a real money spinner. Hopewell Rock was second, Opportunity third, Ascending was fourth, with Willie Mullins' favourite Love Me Tender only 10th.
Thank you, John. Great start to the season for Hull City on their return after a decade. They beat Manchester United 2-0. Here are the thoughts of Michael Carrick.
Yeah, of course, it's not what we wanted. It's a kind of a game that you probably prepare ourselves for and certainly spoke about. It was a huge day for them, and so the atmosphere and how the game could look was we were fully aware of that going into the game, and I thought we did some good things. I thought we had some chances. Maybe you could argue maybe not enough, and we needed to create a little bit more. But I thought we had moments, and then the game obviously on set plays. As a 2 set plays has caught us today. So in general, we've been pretty good for a period of time, and today caught us, and that's decided the game in the end.
Would that be the most disappointing thing, the defending from set plays?
Well, it's pretty obvious to say. We've conceded 2 goals today from them for different reasons. So, results can happen in football, mistakes can happen in football. I think it's over a period of time what you need to be good at and need to be judged. So we'll look at it and we'll improve from it for sure.
Welcome back to Portman Road as the teams are just re-emerging ahead of the second half. Ipswich Town against Sunderland. It is 1-1 as we prepare to enter the second half of this game on the first Saturday of the new Premier League season. 2 good goals. Ipswich took the lead in the 24th minute. A goal on his debut for new Brazilian signing Emerson, set up by Julio Enciso, and then a majestic free kick from the Ecuadorian Nilson Angulo, making it all square again. Teams just coming back out will confirm if there are any substitutions, but it would appear and it's going to be the same complement of 22 players that started the game who resume here for the second half. Luke Chambers is alongside me for commentary. Luke, who's your money on here? Who's going to step up, do you think, after that first 45 minutes we've witnessed at Portman Road?
Well, I think it was definitely a bright start, an energetic start from Ipswich Town, but the way Sunderland have just brought themselves back into the game with a brilliant free kick from Angulo, but the way they controlled the game and the possession in that latter part of the first half, just my concern is for Ipswich, do they run out of steam in that high press, high tempo game that they're trying to bring, especially at home. So it's whether Sunderland's experience and know-how does it reign over Ipswich's maybe just lack of experience and togetherness and cohesion that they're probably going to see inside this first first few weeks of the season.
We're about to get back underway. It's Ipswich Town's kickoff, and Ciso is already standing inside the centre circle ready to take it. Very much old school with his tiny socks. I mean, his shin pads must be the size of a postage stamp to fit under those socks. But of course, that's the rules. You have to have shin pads, but there's no decree as to how big those shin pads are. And it just strikes me as a player from a different era to have them quite that low in Ciso. But he's had a wonderful debut second time for Ipswich. We're back underway, confirming there are no changes in personnel. Leif Davis's possession for Ipswich just down below us. He's on the left of a back four in front of goalkeeper Kjell Sherpen, alongside Jacob Greaves, Issa Diop and Darragh O'Shea. In the midfield for Ipswich, Marcelino Nunez and Sasa Lukic. And then a line of 3, Abdul Fatawa, Tyson Maeda, Julio Enciso behind Emerson, who scored the goal in the first half. Here is Fatawu, Emerson's little flick nearly picking up Maeda. And then back under Sunderland's possession with Granit Xhaka down there, who gives it to Siddiqui in the midfield. Sunderland, who only got 8 touches of the ball for Brian Brobby, their number 9. Can they get the Dutchman involved a little bit more in this second period? Robin Roofs is their goalkeeper. Debutant Thomas Munier at right back. Dan Ballard, Luca Nine and Ronaldo complete the back 4. Siddiqui alongside Xhaka in the midfield. Hume on the wide right position. Angelo on the left. Lafy playing the number 10 role in behind the central striker Brobby. As Siddiqui here gives it back to Ronaldo on the far side. And Sunderland in their change kit, it's their 3rd choice for this season. Normally their red and white stripes will be number 1. They've got a blue kit which wouldn't work against Ipswich as their 2nd choice, so that's where they're wearing the pink here this afternoon at Portman Road. As Darrow Shea is unable to control the ball on the far side, and that goes out for a throw in to Sunderland.
Yeah, good start for Sunderland in terms of trying to play inside Ipswich half. Pressed high, numbers forward. It's just a real interesting part to Ipswich's play so far in this opening 45, and as again we've seen in the first couple of minutes of the second half, it's pushing Darrow O'Shea from that right back slot high and wide on the right far side of the pitch now, and Sherpen's hitting him regularly just to try and start those attacks.
I mentioned in the first half, Luca Nine doesn't have a long runway for these long throw attempts here at Portman Road. There's very little space on the far side. He takes as long a run as he can. He propels the throw into the penalty area. Diop is able to head it away. The ball goes back out of play for another Sunderland throw, and they take this one quickly, and Enzo Felix up, and he plays it in towards the far post, but too high for Brobby, and that skims out for a goal kick to Ipswich, and it remains 1-1 here.
Yeah, quick free kick from 09, quick thinking, using his experience, drops it into Lafy, just picks it up and sets it on his right foot, tries to whip it in towards Brobby at that back post, but again, credit to Leif Davis, real good defending, just used his body to see Brobby out of the danger.
3 games with 3 o'clock kickoffs on this first Saturday of the new Premier League season. Everton leading Crystal Palace by a 1-0. Dewsbury Hall's goal just before the break. It's still 0-0 between Nottingham Forest and Leeds. They're back underway for the second half, and here at Portman Road, Ipswich Town 1, Sunderland 1. The tea time game, Brentford against Spurs, a London derby. You can listen to full commentary of that on our sister station 5 Live at 5:30. Here is Sasa Lukic in the midfield to Nunez. Those two have combined well. Maida has possession on the left hand side, gives it into the feet of Emerson. And then Lafy with a little lunge in, trying to get it back for Sunderland, but Ipswich do hold on to possession. Leif Davis plays it off an opponent, and the ball goes out for a throw into Ipswich down below us. Nunez happy not to waste any time there, immediately throwing the ball back into play. Sherpen, the big 6'9" tall goalkeeper, will send it right-footed down the right wing. He's looking for Abdul Fatawu, jumping in the air. Ronaldo, who's done well to stick close to young Fatawu this afternoon, and then Luca Nine is able to play it back to the goalkeeper down the other end, Robin Roofs.
Yeah, still Ipswich trying to start their attacks with long balls up from Sherpen. Yes, they're trying to play out and play round their back 4, but it always ended up with the goalkeeper, who has it now inside his 18-yard box, and they're trying to look for those diagonals, trying to isolate Maida 1v1 in this near side in front of Thomas Munier, and the same the other side in Fatawu up against Reinildo. So they're looking to play forward early.
Early goals of the second half elsewhere. Peterborough United have taken the lead at home against Mansfield Town, and Blackburn are back on level terms, 1-1 now, with Middlesbrough visiting Ewood Park. Here come Ipswich Town on the attack down the right wing. Fatawu makes a burst for the byline, that's really good, and he plays it back to Maida, who couldn't finish. The goal was at his mercy. It was lashed at him. It would have needed a cultured touch, but Maida wasn't able to put it into the back of the net. Ipswich should be 2-1 up.
They should be, and Enciso fizzes the ball quickly wide on that far side to Fatawu, does brilliantly in 1v1, drives to the byline, cuts it back, but it's just too high. And Maida's right in the middle of the goal, just inside the 6-yard box, and it's glaring, it's open for him, but the ball is just a little bit too high, and he can't direct it on target. But brilliant start for Ipswich.
That is what Ipswich fans will want to see a lot more of from Abdul Fatawu. Raw pace to get to the byline and then to ping it back towards Maida, who himself had made a brilliant run, and Celtic fans have seen that so many times over the years, getting into a finishing position. He'll be disappointed not to have got a Premier League debut goal. Here's Enciso, so close to something special. Fatawu's cross, Cisse spinning, I mean pirouetting with his back to goal, tried to flick it with the instep of his toe, tried to drag the ball goal bound, and he was not very far away. That would have been a brilliant goal had it gone. He nearly pulled it off.
Oh, it's absolutely intentional as well. It might have just thought, oh, is he trying to bring it down? But no, Fatawu did the opposite. He just stood, got it on his left foot, put in a brilliant ball, and it looked like it was going to nestle in that far corner, but just drifts a yard wide of the far post.
I'm always aware on these very much different descriptions for different words, and you've got things like Rabonas and scorpion kicks. I don't even know what to call that from Enciso, but with his back to goal, he tries to flick it with the instep of his right toe as he's swivelling around in a clockwise motion, and he did change the trajectory of the ball, and he very nearly was able to get it to sneak in. So 1-1 it remains here. Exciting times on 5 Live Sports Extra here at Portman Road.
Yeah, every single thing that's positive for Ipswich is coming through in Enciso, and now Fatawu stepping up in his opening 5 minutes, and they have to keep getting the ball to Enciso. Sunderland don't have an answer to him. Yes, they want Granit Xhaka on the ball to dictate possession, but every time Ipswich do have the ball and find him, he's creating chance and opportunity, and he's really driving his team forward. It's been a brilliant performance so far, and it just, if that chance and that execution of his volley almost drifts into that far corner, it would have been contender for the season already.
1-1 at Portman Road. It's been a good game to watch. This Brobby tries to make a burst forward. The pass doesn't come through to find Tim. Maybe an opportunity. Renildo, Brobby, back to goal. Tries to swivel and shoot. This is Mounier, unselfish. Hume tries to pull it back, and they just couldn't get the clean shot away. They were queuing up, but Ipswich somehow survived. Nunes with a very important block.
Yeah, it's Diop again. He gets caught on the ball. It's reversed in Siddiqui, who does a brilliantly square pass just inside the penalty spot. Brobby turns and spins and tries to get his shot off, but it's blocked brilliantly. Every single blue shirt behind the ball inside the 18-yard box gets rid of any danger for Sunderland, but another warning sign for Ipswich. Sunderland aren't settling down.
And here comes Angulo down the left-hand side, tried to take on O'Shea. He's unable to do so, and here comes Fatawu playing the ball in front of Enciso, playing it far in front of him because he knows he's got pace to burn. Enciso is onto it, hurdles around the defender again. He's into the penalty area, pulls it in, header back, Emerson, Enciso can't flick it in. Flag went up anyway. I think Ipswich would have been offside, but that is exhilarating football. And Enciso again in the very heart of it. What a game he's having today.
And they say you should never bring a player back to a club, but Gary O'Neill has certainly tried absolutely everything to bring Julio Enciso back to Portman Road, and he's showing absolutely every single reason why. Taking on Granit Xhaka on that far right hand side, then cutting inside Angulo, kicks one to the back post, and Emerson just heads it back across the 6-yard box. Maida cannot get on the end of it again, but these three are causing Sunderland no end of problems.
This is Mounier, halfway line. That was a let-off for Sunderland. Initially when Enciso played it to Emerson, he just had to stretch. I thought he was going to get it back into Enciso to score. And I don't know if he was just trying to delicately flick it into the far top corner or something, but he was just off target in the end. Appeals for a foul for the home fans, so the referee agrees, so it's a free kick to Ipswich on the halfway line, 1-1.
Yeah, Sunderland just need to calm things down again, trying to get some possession and just try and slow the game down, because Ipswich have certainly started this brilliantly. Whatever Gary O'Neill said to them at half-time, giving them that belief. Hatawu's staying high and wide on the far side. Maida's dropping into little pockets, and Sunderland can't seem to just find the answers at the moment. And if they can just see this period out and quieten Ipswich down, quieten Portman Road down, they certainly have a difficult next 5 or 10 minutes.
1-1, Sports Extra from BBC Radio 5 Live. Fatawu tries to make another charge down the right wing. And he's certainly up for it today, looking to impress his new fans. And that particular cross is lashed away out for a goal kick. But I think it's fair to say Sunderland have started this second half very well.
Yeah, they have, and I think Fatawu himself, he will have been a little bit disappointed with his quality and his performance, and he's probably looking after the ball for his team, but his work rate's not been in question. But this second half, he started brilliantly in this opening 10 minutes, direct, moving forward, taking Ronaldo on. Positive signs for Ipswich and their new winger.
Dan Ballard in possession inside his own penalty area. Sunderland playing from left to right as we look down in their pink shirts. He's tried an ambitious crossfield pass there and he doesn't find Ronaldo, and you can hear the cheers from the Ipswich Town fans as their team regains possession here. Ronaldo immediately straight back into battle, does well against Fatawu, and then he takes the throw in to Siddiqui. Siddiqui's got that low centre of gravity. It's hard to shuffle off the ball. Granit Xhaka there to help out. Enzo Lafay. There's no space to breathe here at all for Sunderland. They've been suffocated inside their own half, but is very much up for it now. Ipswich Town team, and Nunes has won the ball back again. Enciso's going to put pressure on O'Nien, and the ball continued to roll into the penalty area, and a grateful Roofs was able to come right to the edge of the box there and collect.
Yeah, Lafay got a little bit of pocket inside the centre circle. His just pocket was picked by Nunes again. Real positive front foot football from Ipswich.
This is Brobby. Possession of the right-hand side of the attack for Sunderland. Support from behind from Mounier. Clever ball to the byline. Hume drags it back. What a chance, but good reaction. Darrow Shea inside his own 6-yard box to clear it away. Angelo looking for his second goal of the match, was almost in to score. That's as dangerous as Sunderland have been in this second period. Good creativity from Mounier there in the build-up of it. As Lafay has possession again on the right-hand side. Gives it back to Mounier. Tall for a fullback. Level with the edge of the penalty area that Sunderland attack. Siddiqui gives it back out to Mounier. There are 3 players in central locations here, but Sunderland not playing it in yet. Mounier, still the ball on the deck. Now he plays it right-footed outside of the right boot, looking for Angelo on the far post. Leicester being able to repel it outside the penalty area. Then there's a foul on Fatawu. Referee's whistle was blown. Quickly taken free kick. Ipswich is so unfortunate there. It hit Enciso on the back of his neck. He's running, hoping the ball falls into his path. And how unlucky is that for it to hit the back of his neck?
It was, but that's the question there. Sunderland have responded from what we were saying. Can they get a bit of possession? Drive Ipswich back towards their own goal. They certainly dominated that last 5 minutes, and they showed that these qualities that they have in their squad, they can create chances. Trey Hume running through a bit narrower. Siddiqui again playing off Bobby. They certainly have the tools to cause Ipswich some damage, so they certainly need to stay on it. Yes, it's been a bright start for Ipswich, but certainly in both teams' hands at the moment.
Ipswich Town 1, Sunderland 1 in the sunshine at Portman Road on the first Saturday of the new Premier League season. Just to keep you up to date with what is happening elsewhere. Derby County back to 2-2 against Cardiff City. That's in the Championship, where Blackburn Rovers have now taken the lead against Middlesbrough. They've turned that around from being a goal down to leading 2-1. Todd Cantwell has scored, former Norwich and Rangers player for Blackburn. In League 1, MK Dons 1, Huddersfield Town 1. That's an equaliser for MK Dons. And in League 2, Swindon Town have established a 2-goal lead now against Cheltenham Town. There is another goal to tell you about in the Premier League. Everton have doubled their lead against Crystal Palace. Everton 2, Crystal Palace 0. And interestingly, in the Championship, West Ham, life back in the second tier, is not going easy. They are 2 goals down at home against Charlton Athletic right now. There's a change to tell you about. Telby has come on in place of Angelo. Nilson Angelo, whose free kick equalised for Sunderland in the first half, but now the fresh legs of Jemson Telby, who was a very strong performer for Sunderland in the Premier League last season.
Yeah, and I think that's the first signs that we'll see. There'll be probably multiple changes for both teams as this game progresses. It's being played at such a high tempo.
Here come Ipswich. Made it down the left-hand side. Good work from Mounier to get back and make the challenge. That's going to be a corner to Ipswich. Mounier, who was able to eat up the ground there in his pursuit of Maida. Corner kick to Ipswich, the game hanging at 1-1.
That's the first time we've seen Deza Maida get away from Mounier and play a little bit wider. He's certainly played most of his football inside this opening hour. Narrower for Ipswich, but that was the one. He came short for Leif Davis, ran in behind almost in this left-hand near channel, but Mounier shows his experience and his defensive solidity, gets back, but a corner for Ipswich.
Marcelino Nunez to take, became a real favourite with the Ipswich fans last season in the Championship. Short run up for this corner. Left-hand side of the pitch as Ipswich come forward. Very busy 6-yard box as it's played towards the back stick. Chested down by Sasa Lukic. Didn't really have the time to do that. Couldn't get the shot away. There's an opportunity for a counter-attack here. Talby, who's only just come on, comes scorching over the halfway line. Tries to pick a pass. It was a good idea. He was looking for Siddiqui. It's cut out by the last defender. That's a very important interception for Ipswich, and they play on here with Enciso near the centre circle. Back to Fatawu. Spins well over the top. looking for Maida, cut out though by Ballard. And a high turnover of possession in recent minutes in this game that still feels like it could go either way for one of these teams.
Yeah, and it looked like Talby on the break for Sunderland gave the decision was probably a ball straight through the middle for Lafille, who was running away from the centre half in Diop, but he tried to go across the pitch. But credit to Abdul Fattawu getting back from the break and the corner to slide and block the ball. He was the last man, and for your right winger, that is exactly what you want to see if you're a manager trying to stay in the Premier League.
An hour played at Portman Road. Ronaldo gives the ball up to Dalby, hugging the touchline on the left-hand side. That's the area of the pitch where the Sunderland fans are housed. One or two of them in the new pink strip, but most of the fans wearing the red and white stripes over there. Ball ricochets around the Ipswich penalty area before Issa Diop is able to clear away, and then Granit Xhaka commits a foul on Emerson, and that's going to be a free kick to Ipswich Town. This is quite a debut that Emerson is enjoying. He's big, he's powerful, he's got a real presence about him, this new Brazilian centre forward for Ipswich Town.
As we hear his name ring round Portman Road, they're certainly very impressed, and the questions were, can he provide the goals that will keep Ipswich Town in the Premier League? And he's certainly impressing me this afternoon with his work rate, the way he's looked after every single ball into his feet, the way he's held the ball up for his side.
Emerson,
he's been real positive.
He scored today. He scored in the last two pre-season friendlies as well against Union Berlin and Rayo Vallecano. And he does seem to have hit the ground running in his Ipswich Town career as Jacob Greaves plays another one over the top. Leif Davis sprinting after it, just beaten to the ball by Troy Hume. He'll touch it back to the goalkeeper, Robin Roofs. Strong work ethic from both teams here, and two sides who know that they are going to have to work hard to achieve their aims this season. There's absolutely no doubt about that as Luke O'Nien drags the ball under his studs. Under pressure here from Enciso, he's lost it again. O'Nien, who lost possession in the first half, and he drags down Enciso, and he's going to get a yellow card there. Free kick to Ipswich just outside the box. Luke O'Nien, he dithered, he dillied, he dallied, and Enciso was going to steal into the penalty area, and O'Nien taking the professional foul option, dragging him down, and the referee obviously satisfied that there was other defensive cover, that was not a red card situation for denying a obvious goal scoring opportunity, but O'Nien is booked in a free kick to Ipswich just outside the penalty area.
And we talk about letting opposition in and giving them a chance and raising the tempo inside the stadium. Luke O'Nien, he's made one mistake for the first goal for Ipswich, and he's nearly done it again. Lucky for him, just inside his left shoulder is Granit Xhaka on the cover, as Enciso again, who he knows will press and be aggressive and try and nick the ball off him, and he's done it again. Very, very silly defending again from Luke O'Nien.
I don't think any other Premier League teams will be watching this for their video analysis and seeing how Ipswich operate. You cannot sort of mess around at the back. They will pounce. They play very much with a high press as Lukic spins in the free kick. Issa Diop trying to flick on a header. Defender with him though, preventing that attempt going on target. Fattawa, he's done really well. Little nutmeg into the penalty area, and that's going to be a corner kick. Fattawa's having a really good second half. Corner to Ipswich. Ipswich 1, Sunderland 1 at Portman Road on Sports Extra.
Brilliant bit of play from Fattawa. He started the second half brilliantly. He gets the ball, he's almost 2v1 against him, but he decides, you know what, I'm going to take him on, and he drags it from his left across to his right. He's just got absolutely blistering pace, and he gets away and just can't pick out Diop as he tries to cut the ball back just outside the 6-yard box.
Corner, he's got to come in from the far side. Very busy. 6-yard box directly in front of the goalkeeper. Referees this season been asked to take extra care that there isn't holding at corner kicks. An attempt for Nunes after the corner was flicked onto the front post. It's actually still a play. Nunes' shot with so much backspin that it didn't go out of play. It spun back on again. However, there is a collision, and Granit Xhaka's gone down holding his head, and he's going to get a free kick for Sunderland. And the Ipswich fans, as you can imagine, are not best pleased with that, but the referee gives the free kick to Sunderland. 1-1 at Portman Road.
Yeah, it was a lovely delivery in from the corner, and Dan Ballard does well, heads it away from danger in front of his goalkeeper, and it drops down to Muñez, who looks like he's smashed it into Rosette in the far corner of the stadium, but it spins up. But credit to Granit Xhaka, Mr. Reliable, he's there for his team, takes the contact from Diop, gets himself a free kick, and his side now breathe a sigh of relief.
Later on this evening, Brentford against Spurs commentary on 5 Live at 5:30. Ipswich are about to make a double change here. McAteer and Akpom are going to come on. And warm applause for the two players who are departing, namely Abdul Fatawu and the Brazilian Emerson, who scored in the first half. So two guys who've put in a good shift here and will very much have won the favour of their new supporters with what they've seen. But on comes the replacements. Casey McAteer, his 100th league appearance of his career, and Chuba Akpom, who is back playing in the Premier League after one of the longest absences we've ever seen, really. He played back in the day for Arsenal some 11 years ago, and he's gone abroad, and he was most recently with Ajax, and he played in the Championship. But 11 years, it is the second longest absence between two Premier League appearances. There's one player who's had a longer gap. Do you care to guess who played in the Premier League, went away for ages and came back? What's your guess, Luke? Cristiano Ronaldo. 12 years between leaving Manchester United and coming back again. So Akpom will be pleased to be in that particular company. Akpom, another who scored in the pre-season friendly against Le Havre earlier on this month. So fresh legs brought into the attack, and Ipswich hoping this final quarter of the match that they can get a winning goal here. Remember, they were in front of the first half before that brilliant free kick from Angulo. As this game at 1-1, this is Mounier, right hand side for Sunderland, plays a nice ball forward. Enzo Lafay is onto it. Cross comes Nunez, holds up Lafay but can't win the ball off him, and then it goes out off Maida, and that's going to be a throw in to Sunderland. They remain in the attack down the right hand side.
Yeah, we're just interested in the impact Emerson had up top for Ipswich. Can Chuba Akpom hold the ball up, take some pressure off if Sunderland start to build? But he's certainly someone that wants to prove maybe a few people wrong. Didn't go as smooth as he probably wanted it last season, but another opportunity for him to make an impression.
Here comes the throw from Troy Hume, and it's a foul throw. You don't see much of that in the Premier League. Foul throw. Sunderland have also brought on Wilson Isidore during that break in play, so he's leading the attack for them. He has taken the place of Brobbey, and Alderete has come on, the Paraguayan defender who played at the World Cup. He's on for 09, and you can understand that because Ballard and 09 were both on yellow cards, and that's quite a risk for Regis Labrie. So he has taken off one of his central defenders, and he's brought on Alderete, who was a regular in the team last season.
Yeah, sensible decision. Both of his centre-halves now sit, like you say, on yellow cards, so doesn't want to give Ipswich any other way back into the game to try and take the lead, so good bit of management from him.
This is Sherpin, Ipswich Town's giant goalkeeper, launching the ball right-footed up over the halfway line. It's fallen here from Maida. Akpom inside of him. The new recruit from Celtic just has a look, plays it in low. Akpom controls with his back to goal, but Alderete was harassing and haranguing him, and never really under his control there for Chuba Akpom, as the game end-to-end now comes down the other end. Isidore tries to flick it through for Lafay. Too many defenders back there. Important interception for Ipswich. They regain control of the ball just on the edge of their own penalty area with Marcelino Nunez, who rolls it back to the goalkeeper. Sherpin's clearance straight into the midfield to Granit Xhaka. Quarter of the match to play. Could still be won by either of these teams. Alderete brings it out of defence.
I'm just seeing in Julio Enciso for Ipswich. He's just given the signal to Gary O'Neill that he's really struggling.
This is Mounier down the right hand side. Ipswich fans won't want to see Enciso leave the field, but if he's not okay to continue, they've got to get fresh legs on there. He's now actually gone to sit on the ground, Enciso. The referee's not going to hold up play necessarily, so Maida puts the ball out, and now some treatment can come on for Enciso, and this could be the end of his performance today.
And what a performance it's been, isn't it? And now, does that take the wind out of Ipswich's sails? Maybe, but we're looking at Jack Clarke. It looks like he'll be the man to take his place. He certainly was convinced that he needed to come off. He gave the classic substitution sign to his manager, who then immediately turns down right below us and signals for Jack Clarke to be ready. But losing him, Emerson coming off, Fatawu, who'd started the second half brilliantly, does that take the sting out of Ipswich's attack a little bit? It remains to be seen. There's certainly a long way to go for this one.
And some warm applause around Portman Road as Enciso makes his way towards the technical area. It will be Jack Clarke who comes on at his replacement, but Enciso, who was here on loan 2 seasons ago, who played under Gary O'Neill in France, last season. If he can play like he's done today for the rest of the campaign, Ipswich are going to feel that could be a real bonus for them. He's been excellent today, really, really good. You talk about having Premier League quality, that's what Enciso has shown today.
And you mentioned earlier when scouts are coming to watch Ipswich, he has been the man that Sunderland have tried to stop but just have failed on every opportunity, and he could have had a couple today. He's nearly assisted a couple, so real positive start for him, but someone that opposition will certainly have to stop because he definitely has the quality to open teams up.
Ipswich have possession away to our right hand side, 19 minutes to go on the big stadium clock, plus the stoppages of course. Sherpin bowls it out overhead for Issa Diop, whose ball forward is towards Chuba Akpom. Miscontrol by Alderete, but Ballard makes amends for it, and then a lovely Cruyff turn by Granit Xhaka keeps things moving in the midfield. Sunderland do, one of their successes last season was they finished games strongly. They were able to keep motoring. And Regis Labrise will hope that they can do that here on the opening Saturday of this new campaign. Alderete with the yellow boots gives it to Ballard, now to Mounier. Mounier, whose pink boots matches his new pink socks in the Sunderland third choice kit. Ipswich Town 1, Sunderland 1. The goals from Emerson in the first half, and Angelo with a good free kick just before half time. Offside flag rises here. Sunderland had strayed. Free kick to Ipswich on the far side.
Yeah, it would just be interesting to see the substitutions that both teams have made. Has it just taken the sting out of the game a little bit so far? They'll have to bed themselves into it. I think Gary O'Neill below us, he's still animated as Regis Labrise just stands there, his arms folded, and can they continue to play at that high tempo that he's asking of them?
This is Jimsteen Dalby down the left-hand side, unable to pick out a teammate. Ipswich regained possession. And the ball is played out towards Maida, but he's been well chaperoned by Thomas Mounier. Sunderland have possession back under their control as it's rolled back to the goalkeeper. So in the Premier League, Arsenal winning 3-0 against Coventry last night. Hull City beating Manchester United 2-0 in the lunchtime kick-off. Of the 3 o'clock games, Everton still 2 goals to the good against Crystal Palace. 1-1 here between Ipswich and Sunderland, and still scoreless at the City Ground. Nottingham Forest 0, Leeds 0. Brentford against Spurs to come at 5:30. More live football tomorrow on 5 Live and Sports Extra. You can listen to Manchester City against Bournemouth, or indeed Brighton Aston Villa. Choice of listening at 2 o'clock. It's all building up to a big game at St James's Park. Newcastle United against Liverpool. Commentary of that one with correspondent John Murray will be on 5 Live tomorrow. Sunderland have possession inside the centre circle with Alderete. They'll give it to Granit Xhaka, playing deep at the moment. Up towards Lafay, who allowed the ball pass in front of him. Then he felt he was fouled. Referee wags the finger and says there wasn't a foul there, play on. And the ball is played from the midfield back to the goalkeeper by McAteer. And now Leif Davis has it on the left-hand side for Ipswich. Good ball up to Maida. Poor return. He didn't look. If he had done it, he'd have seen Troy Hume was in the way. Sunderland regained possession. Hume gives it infield to Alderete. And we begin to wonder which of these two teams is going to finish the game stronger with just over a quarter of an hour to play.
It's certainly turning into a bit of a chess match now. Sunderland just slowly trying to come back into the game after the bright start from Ipswich inside that opening 10-15 of the second, and they're now starting to move the ball forward with a bit more intent.
Mounier plays it down the right wing. Hume's back heel cleverly finds Mounier again. He swivels and sends in a cross, and under pressure Darragh O'Shea has dealt admirably with that. Telby was behind him. O'Shea had to be careful. He's managed to head it out for a throw-in on the far side. Sunderland will remain on the attack. Both teams have made attacking substitutions. Can either of these coaches find a little bit of magic to take the 3 points today? Alderete has possession on the halfway line. A great press on him the way Enciso was doing when he was on the pitch, but a poor pass towards Ronaldo, who doesn't control it, and a roar from the Ipswich fans as they are gifted possession back again. 1-1.
Yeah, no real need to make the wrong decision there from Alderete. He just passes the ball sloppily out of play, but the Ipswich Town fans are now trying to lift their team. They can see it's gone a little bit flat. That tempo's dropped off a little bit since the substitution, so like you say, who can respond now in this next 15 minutes before we reach the 90.
Earlier on today in the Championship, draws between Birmingham and Bristol City. 2-2 at St Andrews. Lincoln 1, Portsmouth 3. Finished Millwall 3, Norwich City 0. Of the 3 o'clock games of the Championship, Blackburn are in front at the moment, so too Wolves. And Charlton, who still lead 2-1 now at West Ham. West Ham, who got a goal back. Joel Pirro, a recent recruit from Leeds United. It's still 1-1 at Wrexham. Wrexham against Watford with about a quarter of an hour to play. Good challenge by Greaves in the midfield for Ipswich. Chuba Akpom gives it to Clark on the left-hand side. Two of these substitutes combining at the moment. Leif Davis has made a good surge down the left wing. Tries to send in a low cross, well blocked by Dan Ballard. And Ipswich Town get themselves a corner with this game still in the balance at 1-1.
Oh, it started with a brilliant tackle just inside his own half from Jacob Greaves. Wins the ball brilliantly off the fee, and again it's that counter-attacking play from Ipswich. They drive away. Leif Davis still an outlet down this left-hand side with his pace and his engine. He just can't get the ball across the 6-yard box to Chuba Akpom, who's waiting in the middle, but good defending and recovery from Sunderland, but it's still a little bit end-to-end and open for probably both managers' liking.
Second goal for Wolves. Preston 0, Wolves 2 in the Championship. Corner is the left-hand side of the pitch as Ipswich come forward. Nunes to take it. Played right in on top of the goalkeeper. Double-fisted punch from Roofs. It's come on the edge of the area to Leif Davis, who tried to spin it back into a dangerous position, but Sunderland had stepped out well, and that's easily claimed by the goalkeeper Robin Roofs, who tries to immediately launch a counter-attack with a quick kick, but he can't pick out Isidore, and Ipswich regain possession once again. Who can keep their composure here? And what has been a frantic second half, particularly the pace of the game, notably quick. Issa Diop over to the far side to Dara O'Shea. Talby runs in to put pressure on him. It does force an error. And then Isidore controlling, but in lunges Diop, and he's done well, and Ipswich regain possession once again. Sasa Lukic spinning around a full 360 degrees, doesn't panic, keeps his cool. You'll hear the warm applause because Sasa Lukic with a bit of Premier League quality there to hold on to possession for Ipswich Town in a crowded area. Tyson Maeda gives it back to Greaves. Ipswich holding possession well at the moment, but can they create opportunities?
That's the question now. With probably the substitutions that have made, they've definitely lost a little bit of quality, but they're certainly moving the ball with intent, trying to take the game to Sunderland in this next sort of last 15 minutes. So they'll be hopeful that they can create something. It's just they've just lost a little bit of their drive and their stride at the moment.
Bolker's out of play for a throw into Ipswich on the far side. Taken down to the feet of Jack Clark. Back to the halfway line. Nunes has Jacob Greaves on his left-hand side. Ipswich play it to the left wing. Maeda up against Mounier. Rolls it back infield again to Nunes. Now this is Sasa Lukic. Short, neat, triangular passes from Ipswich Town. This will please Gary O'Neill's team. Comfortable in possession. Are they feeling confident with 11 and a half minutes of normal time to play? Greaves under pressure, but he holds onto the ball. Leif Davis back into Sasa Lukic, has a little look up. Not too many options available. Back to Greaves again. Ipswich holding onto the ball around the central area. Issa Diop inside the centre circle. Gives it to the right-hand side to O'Shea. Now he tries to ping one forward. Chuba Akpom could be onto it here, but does he foul the defender? Akpom not able to get a shot away anyway, but Ballard was fouled in the build-up. I tell you, that's one of those that would have been scrutinised by VAR had it ended up in the back of the net, but as it is, free kick to Sunderland on the edge of the box.
Well, the referee felt that he needed to make the decision straight away, and he blew his whistle. Akpom tries to get across Ballard on the edge of the 18-yard box. He probably does catch Ballard's heel just to clip it, and he makes him fall over, but he doesn't finish the chance in the end anyway. But we're looking at substitutions and changes again, so just a little warning sign that Chuba Akpom is certainly trying to make an impression since his introduction.
Double change for the visitors. Sunderland, the teenager Chris Rigg comes on. He turned 19 in June, did well in the Premier League last season, and Habib Diallo is on as well, the Senegalese midfielder. Double change for Sunderland and a double change as well coming up for Ipswich. Watara's going to come on, and also coming on Sindre Vala Egeli, the Norwegian, who made 28 appearances in the Championship last season. So Eglion into the midfield, and Watara just running back to have a little word with Diop as he prepares to take his place in the midfield. 1-1. Portman Road, which is excited to be back in the glare of the spotlight of the Premier League. Ipswich Town fans would love to get a late winning goal here, but they certainly don't want to concede a late goal that could see them lose this match. Rolling down the right wing is Ouattara. Not much room to operate there. Ball goes out of play. For a throw in to Sunderland. Ouattara covering back in the left full-back position there. Now Mounier, who's got a long throw on him, is going to take his time over this. Some players making their way into the penalty area, including the big two central defenders, Alderete and Dan Ballard. Ipswich have brought everyone back into the box to defend it. Here comes the throw-in from Mounier, met by the forehead of Jacob Greaves. Xhaka gets it back for Sunderland. Mounier shoots! Well, that was inventive. He's way outside the area. He slices it with the outside of the right boot. It's on target, hoping to catch the goalkeeper out, but Sherpin makes the save.
Yeah, it was absolutely no right to hit it. He's outside the 18-yard box in the corner, just 5 or 6 yards from it, and he's just took the volley on and cuts across the ball with his right foot, and it looks like it's arrowing in towards the near post, but credit to Sherpin, the pickup just before as it lands on the slick turf. He's able to just keep hold of it and take the pressure off, but real good effort from Thomas Mounier.
So Hume and Lefebvre, the two who've gone off as Sunderland to allow Rigg and Diarra to come on. Mead has departed for Ouattara's introduction. And there are now just over 8 minutes of normal time to play at Portman Road on this opening weekend of the new 2026-27 Premier League season. Mounier does well, touching the ball to Rigg. Chris Rigg being pursued by Jack Clark, plays the pass hurriedly and relinquishes possession. Diop mops it up on the edge of his own penalty area. Sherpin with the right-footed clearance out towards the right wing. Jumping was Casey McAteer, but jumping with him was Renildo. The Sunderland man won the header, and Sunderland regained possession. They have it with Alderete at the back.
Yeah, Ipswich Town has certainly lost a little bit of control, and both sides not really playing with any, I wouldn't say idea, but their shapes and patterns have slowly drifted out of the game. It's a little bit scrappy now, second balls and long balls forward, and we're looking at changes.
I think the timing of the Enciso injury in particular was unfortunate for Gary O'Neill. He had just taken off Fatawu. I wonder if he knew if he was going to lose, Enciso might he have left on Fatawu and not had to change the whole front line, but as it is, it's a new front three, front four now with Gailey, McAteer, Clark, Akpom on the field. But Ipswich will know if they're going to survive in the Premier League, they can't rely on just the starting team. It's the squad game, and it's that strength and depth that's going to be so critical. 7 minutes to go here. Ipswich Town 1, Sunderland 1.
Yeah, and Sunderland starting to just take the possession away from Ipswich, trying to stay on the ball as much as possible, not really committing too many bodies forward, but just trying to gain as much control as they can in these latter stages.
Alderete in possession for Sunderland. Good ball up to the halfway line. Diarra spots that Mounier's got space on the right-hand side. Thomas Mounier makes a good surge forward, tries a little trick against Jack Clark, who's seen that one before. Wins possession back for his team. Chuba Akpom, still 10 yards inside his own half. Challenged strongly by Mounier and fouled by the Belgian international. Free kick to Ipswich just inside their own half.
Yeah, and that's what Portman Road fans want to see, and credit to Sunderland, a real experienced foul they give away, but Chuba Akpom dropped into the pocket just inside his own half and used the ball brilliantly, protected it, took the pressure again off of Ipswich and his defenders. Good forward play.
Another free kick for Ipswich. This time on Igeli, and this is a free kick 10 yards or so into Sunderland territory, right hand side of the field, as Gary O'Neill's Ipswich Town come forward. And they'll take their time over this, allowing the defenders to come up and join the attack. Issa Diop would love a debut goal for his new team. He's gone up there. Jacob Greaves is another tall option. Darryl Shea, who wins set pieces in the air, is available too. Sasa Lukic, the new recruit from Fulham, is going to take the free kick. Here he comes, right-footed from near the halfway line towards the Sunderland penalty area. It hangs in the air. Greaves jumps with the goalkeeper, but Robin Roofs claims it comfortably. Ipswich 1, Sunderland 1.
Yeah, another wasted opportunity. They've had a few set pieces this afternoon, but Ipswich, the quality that it delivered them with just hasn't been there. Another long ball into the 18-yard box, and Roofs just comes back unopposed, comes and clutches it out the sky and takes the pressure off.
Well, whenever these sides have ever met in the Premier League in the past, it's always been the team playing at home that has won the game. This is Delby, has a look up, crossing position left-hand side, plays it off Issa Diop and out for a corner. Late corner for Sunderland. And this is where it gets edgy now, and you scan the horizon, the body language of Ipswich Town fans. There's a few fingernails being bitten right now, I'll tell you. 1-1.
There absolutely is, and I'm looking at the players now. Diop's on his 6-yard line, hands on his knees. Jacob Greaves the same, stretching his calves. These are the times now where you have to stick together and just try and see the game out.
Granit Xhaka to take the corner. It increasingly feels that any goal now would be the winning goal. It's going to be a left-footed delivery from Xhaka, arms raised to send the signal to the teammates, swings it in. Dara O'Shea wins the header. Diarra controls at the edge of the box, and under pressure from Miguel, he retreats all the way back to the goalkeeper Roofs, wearing all yellow, who pings the ball forward again towards the edge of the Ipswich Town penalty area. Another rough challenge from Ballard there on O'Shea, and the referee spots that and gives the free kick. And Ballard, who's already on a yellow card, that was, I wouldn't say it was violent or whatever, but it was certainly careless, and just for a moment there he'll have been concerned when the referee was running over towards him.
Yeah, very, very careless from my perspective. He's on the right on the far side, 10 yards outside the 18-yard box. The ball's a long ball up. Dara O'Shea's 100% going to win the ball, and Ballard just comes and absolutely clatters him. But credit to the referee for Halam today. He's been really, really good. He's controlled it, he's let it flow when it's needed to, and made the right decisions at the right times.
This good official, Farrell Halam, who's been a regular in the Championship for a few years, made his first Premier League refereeing appointment last season, and I'm sure he's going to feature a lot this time round. Here he is blowing his whistle to give a free kick to Ipswich inside their penalty area, way to our left-hand side. 3 minutes to play here. Coming up in 45 minutes time, Brentford against Spurs, full commentary on 5 Live. In the meantime, there will be Sports Report on 5 Live with Mark Chapman. 1-1 here between Ipswich and Sunderland in the Premier League on a day when Manchester City have been beaten 2-0 away at Hull in the lunchtime game. Everton still lead Crystal Palace by 2-0 at their Hill Dickinson Stadium. Dewsbury Hall and Barry, the goal scorer, is there for David Moyes' team. Nottingham Forest and Leeds still 0-0 there with 3 minutes to play at the City Ground. Sherpin clears the ball for Ipswich up over the halfway line. Chuba Akpom jumping with Ballard. Neither of them get a touch. Beaten by the bounce. Ipswich recapture possession, but O'Shea under pressure is going to turn and roll it back to the goalkeeper. Lumped along by Sherpin, trying to get in around the back of the Sunderland defence. Akpom, was he being fouled there by Ballard? The referee was close to it again. Dan Ballard on thin ice at the moment. He's got to be careful. He's been involved in a few challenges for a player on a red card. He's got to be careful. He's got it at the moment. Dan Ballard, great performances for Sunderland in the Premier League last season. He was a huge part of their success, and now they're hoping to do it all again, having finished 7th in the Premier League table last campaign. Xhaka kicks it out to Siddiqui on the far side. Back again to Alderete. Mooney is in space on the near touchline. Xhaka scanning the horizon for options. Gives it back to Alderete again. Draw here wouldn't be the worst result for either team, but I think deep down they'll both know that they've had opportunities that they each could have won it today. Might either of them still get the chance to claim all 3 points here in the closing stages? It'd be interesting to see how much is added on for stoppages. We haven't really had injury delays as such. Enciso left the field very quickly. There hasn't been any long VAR reviews or anything like that, so I can't imagine there'll be much to be added on here. We'll know in just a few seconds' time.
No, it's been an absolute old school game of football, hasn't it? Real two teams going at it from minute 1 to now, but it just seems to have died a little bit in terms of the tempo.
Sasa Lukic tries to play a long ball forward. Mounier watches it come and carefully nods it back to his goalkeeper Robin Roofs. So Ipswich, who play here at home again on Tuesday, they host Leicester City in the EFL Cup. Here they come, Ipswich. Clark into the penalty area to score the winning goal. Jack Clark, Ipswich Town's top scorer in the Championship last season, has surely won this one on the opening weekend back in the Premier League. Ipswich 2, Sunderland 1.
Absolutely incredible scenes at Portman Road, and we just thought the game was coming to a conclusion of a 1-1 draw. Sunderland give the ball away to Sasa Lukic, who's been tremendous in the midfield for Ipswich Town this afternoon. He finds Jack Clark just right foot and just uses him to curl it into the far post. And he is the magic man again off the bench for Ipswich Town. 2-1.
It's a 90th minute goal for Jack Clark, the 50th of his senior career, and surely it's going to prove to be the winning goal here at Portman Road. We're into stoppages. 4 minutes to be added on. There's already been 45 seconds of that elapsed. What a cool finish from Jack Clark. In the circumstances, he didn't rush, he didn't blast it, he calmly picked his spot, curling it into the far bottom corner. And for the second time today, Ipswich lead at Portman Road.
And we question the quality. Do Ipswich have it? Do Sunderland have it off the bench? And if that doesn't ask you questions, the man from last season, like you say, was the top scorer. How calm, what quality for the goal.
And what rich irony that he's a former Sunderland player as well. Jack Clark, who had a spell at Sunderland earlier in his career. Has he scored a winning goal against them here? Ballard and Akpom clashing over a 50-50 challenge. Sunderland need to get their skates on rapidly here. Surely there isn't enough time. Mounier out to Chris Rigg on the right wing. Sunderland brilliant last season, but are they going to lose here in the opening weekend of the new campaign? Akpom, 10 yards outside his own penalty area. Clark is in again. Tries to shoot from long range and it spins away wide of the target. Roofs was off his goal line, but it wasn't a great shot for Clark. Nearly put into the game to bed. 3-1, it certainly would have been all over.
Oh, he just couldn't execute. Brilliant ball from Ouattara in the midfield. Just plays him through on the halfway line. He's through on goal almost. And Robin Roofs is way out of his goal, but the ball's just rolling towards his left side. And he can't get enough on the ball to lift it over him. But brilliant defending in the middle of the 6-yard box from Dara O'Shea to keep Sunderland at bay.
Portman Road is ready to celebrate. There are just 90 seconds of the originally allocated 4 minutes to go. Sunderland, who came back from 1-0 down to sit 1-1 for so long. But Ipswich Town currently leading by 2-1 after that wonderful finish from Jack Clark. Now Ipswich have got to bed in because it's going to be a late Sunderland siege. Tiara out to the left wing. Telby's delivery straight to Darryl O'Shea, and it's a real anywhere will do as he blasts it away down the field. Alderete for Sunderland in pink. Out to the near side to Thomas Mounier. They need a good delivery here. Granit Xhaka surveys the scene. Floats into the penalty area looking for Isidore. Headed out again by O'Shea. Shot cracked in by Diarra, but Ipswich are hanging on. O'Shea, who briefly fell to the ground there, then bounced back up to his feet. This is Mounier, left foot across, goalkeeper's come out, Miles, what's he doing? There was no need to come to that for Sherpin. Then he gets in a tangle and goes down, and the referee is going to give a free kick to us. I think he's a bit lucky there, Sherpin, you know. Shouldn't have come for the cross. I think he fell over the attacker, but goalkeeper's always a very protected species, and he gets the free kick, and that could be that as we reach the end of the 4 minutes that we're due to be added on.
Yeah, probably a real let-off for Ipswich. Granit Xhaka again with time and space on the ball to deliver that left foot, trusty left foot towards the back post, and it's hanging in the air for almost like an age. Sherpin comes 16 yards off his line with a flying punch, and then he gets a free kick from some contact with Wilson Isidore, who ends up on the floor. But what noise now inside Portman Road. They believe that they've got off to an absolute flyer.
They do believe, and belief which can be such a valuable commodity for any newly promoted club back up to the Premier League. Ipswich, who haven't been perfect today, but they have ridden their luck, they have taken their chances, and they are ready to celebrate an opening day 3 points back in the big time. Ipswich Town beats Sunderland and Portman Road celebrates. They want the joy of last season to continue in the top flight, and that's how you do it, to win on the opening day against one of the success stories of last season of the Premier League. This time round, Ipswich want to be one of the success stories themselves.
Absolutely, and they've come up against a real quality Premier League side this afternoon. and they've kept them at bay. Yes, they've had opportunities, but the decision-making for the Sunderland's first goal was the one real chink in their armour, and the quality that Angulo showed to make it 1-1, but credit to them for staying in the game. They handled what Sunderland had to throw at them, and they certainly used the game as it drew to a close to continue pressurising front foot football. Gary O'Neill on the touchline all afternoon, driving his team up the pitch, and that one moment of quality, what they needed. Jack Clark again, who has been that man, especially last season, steps up off the bench and delivers that winning goal for them.
The goal came 89 minutes and 39 seconds. It proved to be the death knell for Sunderland today. Long season to go, 37 more games. Sunderland will need to steady the ship now as they prepare for their assignments to come. But what a boost this for Ipswich. The story today is Gary O'Neill's team. The new signings have gelled, and they will be really looking forward to their next game now.
Yeah, so many positives for Ipswich today in terms of all their new signings coming up with real positive performance. Emerson getting off the mark up top, leading the line with a well-taken finish. But you mentioned Fatawu as well, second half especially, Sasalutic in midfield. But the man of the moment and his performance this afternoon, Julio Enciso, Gary O'Neill will be praying that that injury that he's had to come off to isn't one that's going to keep him out so long, because there's lots and lots of positives, but questions for Sunderland as well. Did they create enough? Were there players from last season up to the level? Was Brian Bobby at his maximum? His fitness levels, were they right there? So lots of questions for them, but the positives are for Ipswich Town today.
Emerson gave Ipswich the lead in the first half. Angela with a brilliant free kick equalised for Sunderland. Jack Clark coming up with a winner. You'll see all the goals on Match of the Day tonight. 10:20 on BBC One. Repeated at 8:40 in the morning. Ipswich celebrate. What a return to the top flight for them. Sunderland, who won so many friends last season with their impressive performances, but Regis Labree's team have been beaten on the opening weekend this time round. The full-time whistles will be being blown up and down the land. You can listen on our sister station 5 Live to Sports Report with Mark Chapman for all the details. But here on Sports Extra, there is more live sports to come. After Ipswich Town 2, Sunderland 1 here in the Premier League. It is time to join BBC Radio Humberside for Hull KR against Toulouse in the Super League.